You don't just live in your home. You live in your neighborhood as well. So when you're shopping for a home, you want to know as much about the area around it as possible. Luckily, Homes.com has got you covered. Each listing features a comprehensive neighborhood guide from local experts. Everything you'd ever want to know about a neighborhood, including the number of homes for sale, transportation, local amenities, cultural attractions, unique qualities, and even things like median lot size and a noise score. Homes.com. We've done your homework.
This episode is brought to you by Progressive Insurance. Whether you love true crime or comedy, celebrity interviews or news, you call the shots on what's in your podcast queue. And guess what? Now you can call them on your auto insurance too with the Name Your Price tool from Progressive. It works just the way it sounds. You tell Progressive how much you want to pay for car insurance, and they'll show you coverage options that fit your budget. Get your quote today at Progressive.com to join the over 28 million drivers who trust Progressive. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Price and coverage match limited by state law.
This is the story of the one. As a maintenance engineer, he hears things differently. To the untrained ear, everything on his shop floor might sound fine, but he can hear gears grinding or a belt slipping. So he steps in to fix the problem at hand before it gets out of hand. And he knows Grainger's got the right product he needs to get the job done, which is music to his ears. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
It's time to dust off your glove, grab your bat, and hit the road for some baseball. But before you head to the game, make sure your ride is in top shape. At Axton Automotive, our skilled mechanics ensure your vehicle is running smoothly so you can focus on cheering for your team. Don't strike out this spring. Get your car ready for baseball season. Visit AxtonAutomotive.com or call 360-685-7976.
What's up? It's your boy, the Ted Smith from the Men's Room. And did you know I have a podcast? Well, I do. The Podcast. New episodes uploaded every Wednesday on the Odyssey app.
Unfortunately, what you're about to hear is real. The members of this radio program are simply not that bright, or what some people would call educated. They are merely stupid. They're not trying to offend anyone on purpose. And all have played doctors on TV. You have been warned and are cordially invited to join the party. This is the Men's Room.
Forget it, man, and get with the countdown. Get with the countdown. Shake this square world and blast off for Kicksville. The trippers, the grasshoppers, the hip ones, all gathered in secrecy and flying high as a kite.
This is the Men's Room with Miles and Thrill. You know what they say, shake your radio more than 3 times, and you're playing with it. You're listening to the Men's Room.
And away we go. Welcome to season 19, episode number 4131. Along with Steve the Thrill Hill, the Ted Smith, and Mike Montgomery. And you are the Men's Room. On tap today, the return of Who Sucks Less. We will play Profile This, plus headlines, the Men's Room shot of the day, fun with listener emails, and everyone's favorite, TV Time with Ted.
Click, clack.
All right, here we go. Woman decides to offer husband by putting Roundup in his Mountain Dew. Meanwhile, a homeowner wonders why a neighbor uses his yard always to go poo. Typo leads to murderer's release, and yes, they cannot find him now. 76-year-old bank robber says it's easy to retire, but I don't know how. And a woman wrecks her car, surprise, dead body in the back seat. That is all coming on today's very special episode of The Men's Room.
And now, here's the question.
Hola, bitches. Good day to you and yours. All right, while Seattle is notoriously late to the party, summer has arrived for most of the rest of the country, and with summer comes people flocking to the beaches. Now, thanks in part to the movie Jaws, people seem to carry an undercurrent of shark-related dread once they step foot in the ocean, but Jaws is not solely to blame. You see, real sharks are doing their part too. Last weekend, off the coast of North Carolina, a teen was bitten by a shark in an attack that so-called experts called, and I quote, exceedingly rare. And yes, it is so exceedingly rare that exact same weekend, a surfer in Hawaii was killed when a shark attacked him. But that's not to be confused with the 2 shark attacks in Florida 2 weeks ago, or the shark attack in Texas the day before those 2 shark attacks in Florida. So exceedingly rare indeed. But sharks, of course, aren't the only dangerous thing in the water. In Panama City Beach, 5 people, they drowned over a 4-day period because of the riptides. So now maybe you're thinking, man, screw the ocean. Like Billy the Big Mouth Bass, take me to the river. Yeah, well, not to be a downer, but a woman, she died after falling off of a boat in the Willamette River. And no one thinks it's the fall that killed her. More than likely, it was the second boat that hit her when she went overboard. So now maybe you're thinking, okay, my water sports, just a nice, relaxing bath. Well, believe it or not, 234,000 people a year are injured in bathrooms. And yes, most of those are related to slips and falls and that kind of thing. But there are exceptions. For example, a few months ago down the road in Lacey, a kid, he was injured while taking a bath after a bullet flew into the bathroom because of a drive-by shooting. Now, the bullet didn't hit the kid, but it hit the tile that exploded, ricocheted off of the kid. And then a woman in England, she needed medical assistance. She was injured while taking a shower, you see, because she accidentally tore her nipple off because of her nipple ring. Oh, yeah, when she opened the shower door. Can't say I've had that one before. But today we're talking about being in the water. And look, it could be the ocean, a river, a lake, a jacuzzi, the bathtub, a shower. It doesn't matter. Yeah, hell, a sprinkler system, the slip and slide, as it were. But today we just want to know, good or bad, what happens in the water?
To be a part of the big show, call 206-803-ROCK. Like the Men's Room on Facebook, follow us on Twitter and Instagram at Men's Room Live, and send your emails to the Men's Room at KISW.com.
What kind of programs does this school have? How are the test scores? How many kids do a classroom? Homes.com knows these are all things you ask when you're home shopping as a parent. That's why each listing on Homes.com includes extensive reports on local schools, including photos, parent reviews, test scores, student-teacher ratio, school rankings, and more. The information is from multiple trusted sources and curated by Homes.com's dedicated in-house research team. It's all so you can make the right decision for your family. Homes.com. We've done your homework.
This is the story of the one. As a maintenance engineer, he hears things differently. To the untrained ear, everything on his shop floor might sound fine, but he can hear gears grinding or a belt slipping. So he steps in to fix the problem at hand before it gets out of hand. And he knows Grainger's got the right product he needs to get the job done, which is music to his ears. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
This episode is brought to you by Progressive Insurance. Whether you love true crime or comedy, celebrity interviews or news, you call the shots on what's in your podcast queue. And guess what? Now you can call them on your auto insurance too, with the Name Your Price tool from Progressive. It works just the way it sounds. You tell Progressive how much you want to pay for car insurance, and they'll show you coverage options that fit your budget. Get your quote today at Progressive.com to join the over 28 million drivers who trust Progressive. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Price and coverage match limited by state law.
I really think a lot of it is just honing in on what your natural interests are, starting small with that too in a more realistic capacity, and then just growing from there. And your passions will lead you.
Ooh, okay, wait a second.
Right? There
so
you go.
We
Sound
have
bite. Sound bite.
Yes, that was good. Okay, we're going to grab that.
Dental sound bites, created for dentists by dentists.
Do things that make you happy. And that's my drop the mic moment.
I love that.
Dental sound bites.
Listen now wherever you get your podcasts.
Rolls on. You're listening to the Men's Room with Miles and Thrill. 99.9 KISW.
Over Charles, away we go. Welcome to season 19, episode number 4131. What a large and in charge program we have for you today. Guaranteed future repeat, the exciting return of Who Sucks Less. Steve, I don't know how you do it. You find people doing bad things in the news. You bring us 3 of these stories each and every week. It is up to us to determine, out of the 3, which one sucks the least. How are we looking this week?
Weird, man.
People doing weird stuff?
Well, one of the 3 is just absolutely bizarre. Well thought out. Just can't believe it actually kind of worked for the guy. The other 2 just, come on. Come on.
Yeah, it's always weird when you get a couple days off and you take a break from the news and you come back and you go, what in the hell is going on?
Right. There's all the normal stuff you hear at soap opera crap. But other than that, man, people do some really like sometimes you make the news not because what you did is bad. It's just so weird.
Yeah. And it's oftentimes not good. And we start with one of those stories. As our question today, what happened in the water? And as they say, shark attacks, not going to happen to you.
Exceedingly rare is their quote. And like I said to you outside, the proper phrase would be, the occurrence of you being bitten by a shark are low.
Correct.
Not that shark attacks themselves are, quote, exceedingly rare.
So within the last couple of weeks, one story this weekend was out of Oahu, where an actor, a very well-known personality in the area. I don't know if he was a pro surfer.
Yeah, he was a pro surfer
on that level, but he's one of those guys. And they found his body without an arm and a leg, and he'd since deceased. But whatever got a hold of him, and you figure someone like that who grew up in Hawaii, lives in Hawaii, probably surfs on a daily basis, have a general understanding of what's going on in the water, what's going on around him. That does not change the fact that there are still sharks in the water.
Doesn't change anything. The sharks don't know what you know. It's what you think you know.
Right. And typically when a shark bites you, as they say, it's always a misunderstanding, and the shark is just looking for, something to eat. Now, in this instance, yes, I know. From looking up, a surfer on a surfboard maybe has a look like a seal or some type of prey. But either way,
that's kind of the theory they've always said.
Sure.
And even if that's true, we still surf, so the risk is there. So
Right.
whatever it is you think you know, if the shark doesn't know what you know, it's still a problem.
So this shark goes up and takes an arm off, we'll say, right?
Yeah.
Whoops, my bad.
Yeah, then it leaves.
Not on this case. He's like, man, I'm going to go for the leg.
Then it said, whoops, my bad.
Right.
Now I've established.
That's what I'm saying.
Like,
oh, no, this was not an accident. And that's, so as far as the unpredictability of this, we head to North Carolina, where a West Virginia teen is recuperating after being attacked by a shark over the weekend off of the coast of North Carolina. 14-year-old Blaine Brown, he was on vacation at North Topsail Beach. He's in waist-deep water, and this was Sunday. He was bitten not once, but twice. Bites to his leg and bites to his ankle. I didn't know what bit me or anything. I just felt it and ran. Then I was screaming. My grandma was holding my hand, and I was like, I'm not going to be okay. I'm going to lose my leg. Well, a family friend was in the water with Blaine at the time and even caught a glimpse of the shark's fin. I heard Blaine say, ow, I got bit. But it was fuzzy. Blaine says he was able to get out of the water on his own, which is when witnesses on land helped apply pressure to his wounds before helicopters responded and arrived and applied a tourniquet. He was transported to Camp Lejeune Naval Hospital, where he had a glass of water and later passed on. North Topsail Beach Police Chief William Youngener says the shark attacks in that area are extremely rare. And beachgoers in general should be more concerned with riptides than with sharks.
He's not wrong.
We'll get into that later.
Right.
But he praised bystanders for the quick thinking. They were wrapping a towel around him, stopping the bleeding, which is the right thing to do. Now, Blaine received a few staples to his leg to close up his wound. He was released from the hospital, and unfortunately, the worst thing that happened to him, not being bit by a shark, he was actually sent home to West Virginia. So he is recuperating there.
I like to say, man, we want to thank the quick thinking of the people on the beach. And I'm not minimizing what the people did on the beach. I've just never heard a story of someone being pulled out of the water who's been bitten by a shark and the other people on the beach didn't do anything. Like, if you pull someone out of the water and been bitten by a shark, like, everyone on that beach rushes over.
Yeah.
Right. I'm saying that's a good thing, but I want to praise the people. Like, dude, that's what people do.
Yeah. Look,
they're got to praise them.
I guess.
Look, everybody should let somebody in traffic, but you still appreciate the wait.
But it's not life or death. That's all. I mean,
some people
be.
freeze, man. I've been there. Tough situation. People just freeze. And it's like,
just give the wave.
That person's choking. We need to do something.
Right. Correct. You're not wrong. You're not wrong about that. In waist deep water is some of the worst. And if you look at the coast of Florida from, let's say, the Panhandle portion, which is, if you, in the military world, you probably have a pretty good idea where Pensacola is. And that stretches all the way over to pretty well close to Panama City and Panama Beach. So that entire area is not only filled with rip currents, it's also filled with sharks.
But people know that. They have signs posted. The lifeguards warn you. I mean, look, if you get in the water, and look, I've been to Florida. I'd still get in the water.
Right.
But, I mean,
But in this instance,
you know what the situation
Well,
is.
the other problem with Panama City Beach, I've been there. It's absolutely gorgeous.
It is.
I mean, the
Crystal
sand,
blue water.
right? The water's crystal blue, clear. The sand's like white, like snow.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I mean,
It's
same
beautiful.
thing. The story you're going to get to. When I went down there, me and my brother, as soon as we checked in, we ran into the Gulf of Mexico.
Right. On the same day, a Pennsylvania couple drowned in a rip current off Florida's Hutchinson Island. A 19-year-old from Oklahoma drowned in a rip current off Panama City Beach. It was first reported would have been 5 deaths at the town in 4 days. On Friday, a day after Riker Milton was pronounced dead at a hospital, 3 young men from Alabama, they drove down to Panama City Beach, checked into their vacation rental just a little before 8 o'clock, then headed to catch some waves. Birmingham residents Harold Hunter, Jamonda Ray, and Marius Richardson, they're all in their 20s. They were caught in a rip current shortly after entering the water. First responders went into the dark and dangerous waters for over 2 hours to attempt to rescue and search for the young men. They were ultimately pronounced dead. The sheriff wrote on Facebook, "I worry about the emotional toll these situations take on first responders, as I know I am struggling right now with it as well." All 3 men were fathers. 60-year-old Debbie Szymanski of St. Louis became the 5th tourist to die at the beach in 4 days. They found her unresponsive on the west end of Panama City Beach around 11:30 a.m., brought her to shore just as emergency services were arriving. Now, she had passed on and had also been a victim of a rip current. The outlet notes all 5 victims were swimming at the beach, maybe only 10 to 15 yards out.
Damn.
With single or double red flags were posted. Single flags indicate high hazard conditions, high surf, maybe currents. Double flags indicate no swimmer should be in the water due to extremely dangerous conditions.
Yeah, I mean, at some point, look, it's like going to Yellowstone. Don't pet a bison. You think, who do we have to tell that to? Apparently, about 100 people a year, right?
Here's my question. Do you think people know about the flags on the beaches?
I think they do because at least in Florida, again, I can go back to Florida as far as that goes, because the one thing we've said, when you're there, you can walk so far out in the water just because of the continental shelf, right? You can walk half a mile away from the beach, and it's up to your waist, But one of the things about the flag, one, if you see a red flag, right, that's never a good sign, but they also post signs to explain to you. So where you see the flags, there's generally a sign next to it that says, hey, this is what you're looking at. This is why they're there, right? So even if you don't know what it is, initially, they do have a sign that explains it. If you're like me, you're one of those people that rarely reads things, so I can understand you just bypass it and run out to the water. But that said, a red flag, as far as I know, never indicates anything good. Right?
Yeah, you're right. I just wonder if people those guys were just so excited, they just kind of were like, meh.
They might not even see it, to be honest with you. It's not like there are these giant NASCAR-sized flags hanging over the beach. I mean, it's these little flags that are posted on certain signs. They're not everywhere. So, honestly, if you go to the beach, and like you said, man, it's a beautiful beach, beautiful water, and we're just running to get in there, you could have red flags to the left and right, but if they're 100 yards apart, we're not seeing those. We're looking at the water, we're going to jump in. And even then, even when they do post them, people still make their decisions. What happens, like every year, it's hurricane season, and they go to Florida. Everyone is evacuated. The one meteorologist that they hope dies and gets washed away, he's down there reporting on it, and there's some dude surfing. Yep. Right? Like, they know. That's what we do as human beings. Look, we skydive. I mean, we jump out of planes. We bungee jump. We climb up rock shears. It's just human nature. Right. If you say, hey, man, you might die, we're like, I need to do this.
Yes. The first house I ever bought was on the Magathie River, north of Annapolis, Maryland. And the Magathie was a small tributary to the Chesapeake Bay.
Yeah.
I had a rancher-style house, but the rancher also had a basement. So the basement had 4 or 5 windows in it. And when I bought it from the owner, he said, look, man, he said, I can tell you this, the basement will occasionally flood during heavy rain. There's no doubt about that. But we got an estimate from a guy, and you can put in a French drain. It's going to cost you about $8,000.
Right.
So we added that on, or took that off of the cost of the home.
Sure. One of the trade-off deals.
But I still have to come up with the $8,000.
You still got to pay $8,000, and you just owe $8,000.
So the house was like
it's the best drain.
Yeah, the house is $120,000.
Yes, we put in the French drain. It smokes its own cigarettes and makes you a baguette each month.
Don't throw up, but the house was $120,000. It was a 3-bedroom house, 2,200 square feet with a 2-car garage. So now I get the house for $112,000, but I still need that $8,000. Pain in the ass. They dig all the way around the perimeter, inside and out. They tear up the concrete in the bottom of it. They put gravel down below. They put drains to drain out to the roadway. They do all these things to ensure if it's going to rain. I think Castle might have had the same type of thing done to his home.
I think he did, yeah.
But so I get all this done. And I got a sump pump put in. I am ready to rock. And all of a sudden, within 6 months of all this work and moving in, first report of hurricanes and a hurricane season. I am ready. as far as the basement is concerned. Now, obviously you need to do some things on the exterior of the home as well, as far as your windows go and other things, depending on the speed of the wind. But I feel really confident in everything that we've done with the home. So the storm hits, and it's worse than we thought. I mean, Hurricane Floyd was a pretty good sized storm. Either way, I'm still going to work at this point in time because, like anything, when you're on the radio, you need to give out any type of emergency information. And basically, that was all we were doing all day.
Right.
So, it wasn't like happy, joy day. It was like, if your power is out, go here. Or there are shelters in place here.
Sure.
Or avoid these roads because they are, it doesn't look like it, but it's 3 feet of water, 4 feet of water, cars getting stuck, blah, 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 blah. I get a call from the wife. She had rushed home. Okay, the storm's getting bad. They let us go home from work early. I just want you to know that the lights are flickering on and off in the house. I was like, oh, God, okay, all right. Well, all right, just hang in there. I'll be home in like 2 hours. So she calls me back. She's like, okay, power's out. We lost all power. I'm like, all right, no problem. I get home, and I go downstairs. The basement looks pretty good. And I look at the sump pump. It looks fine. Then I realize the sump pump's plugged into the wall.
Right.
This is not, this is first-time homeowner, never thought about getting a generator. I'm 27 years old. I thought I had the bases covered on this. Lo and behold, okay, the French drain's going to take care of this. I'm not going to have a problem. 2:30 in the morning, I'm waking up, and I feel like I basically hear a branch hit our roof. So the wind's blowing pretty hard.
Yeah.
This thing is humming. So I'm like, okay, all right. So I go down in the basement, and I realize the water is now seeping in through the windows and the window sills to the basement. All right. French drain can't stop that. The water is coming in.
Right.
And when I look out the window, it is 6 inches high on the windows. 6 inches.
We'll see you in your home soon.
And the water starts pouring in. And then it starts pouring down my steps. And by 4 o'clock in the morning, 4:30, I am in about 7 to 8 inches of water that is continuing to cascade into my home that I just bought a half year ago in my basement. My sump pump does not work. The power is out. The power was out for 4 days. 4 days. And I mean, I kept going down there, kept trying to do whatever I could. There was nothing I could do other than walk around and go, what the hell do I do?
But then you even say the French drain was not in the lowest part of the basement?
It was not. So when it first started to flood, it was kind of cascading. That was like at the highest point they put it in.
Why?
But eventually all got covered up. And now I'm just looking at it. And when the electricity kicked back on, you just heard like this thing was trying to start up, but the entire motor was underwater. So then I had to get a bucket to basically dry that thing out before it even started working again.
Yay!
I'm like, now I'm in 1.5 foot of water in my basement. I'm like, this is the worst day of my life. This absolutely sucks. Our question, what happened in the water? 206-803-ROCK.
Want to teach your kids financial literacy, but not sure where to start? Greenlight can help. With Greenlight, parents can keep an eye on kids' spending and saving, while kids and teens use a card of their own to build money confidence. As a parent, you can send instant money transfers, set up chores, automate allowance, and more. It's a convenient way to run your household, customized to your family's needs, and the easy way to raise financially smart kids. Get started with Greenlight today and get your first month free at greenlight.com/Odyssey.
For those in the market for flavor, there's Modelo Spiked Aguas Frescas, a flavorful drink that's a modern twist on a Mexican street classic with 4 vibrant and refreshing flavors. Pineapple, watermelon, hibiscus, and cucumber lime, made with a splash of real fruit juice. Modelo Spiked Aguas Frescas are perfect for any fiesta, small or big. Modelo Spiked Aguas Frescas, boldly authentic, vibrantly flavorful. Drink responsibly. Modelo Spiked Aguas Frescas flavored beers imported by Crown Imports, Chicago, Illinois. Hibiscus contains juice only for color.
Picture this. It's blazing hot outside and you need to get to work. You get into your car and turn on the AC to get cold air pumping as soon as possible. But it doesn't work. Instead, blowing hot air out of your vents and directly into your face. No, your car doesn't hate you. This issue is commonly caused by low refrigerant due to leaks in the air conditioning system. And there's an easy, all-in-one solution that will restore the cold air in no time. There's no need to go to the shop and pay lots of money when you can save time and money recharging yourself with AC Pro Recharge Kits. AC Pro Recharge Kits make restoring cold air easy for even those with zero DIY experience. And the AC Pro app offers clear, vehicle-specific instructions to help you get the job done in less than 10 minutes. So pick up an AC Pro Recharge Kit at any store selling auto products and confidently restore your car's cold air yourself today. Be a pro with AC Pro.
Better health isn't always about the big things. Sometimes it's a nudge from a friend, or a head nod from a fellow jogger, or even a smile from across the breakfast table when you've decided to pass on the bacon. It's the little things that lead to better health, and Regence is here as a partner, opening doors to the care you need, no matter the size, because it all adds up to something big, a healthier you. Regence Blue Shield. Together we health.
This is the Men's Room with Miles and Thrill.
By the way, our own wacky Taryn Daly from the Daily Mix Morning Show, she actually does stuff for charity. And then it involves exercise, Steve. I know that's a couple things.
It goes against my belief system.
It really does.
Not just drinking beer and eating sausage and salsa?
I think that is the best way to be charitable. Yes.
But guess what you can do? You can join the KISW Bike MS team with the Daily Mix Show's Taryn Daly and Escape the City. I believe they ride across the Deception Pass Bridge, work their way through Whatcom, Skagit, and Island counties. As their goal, a world free of multiple sclerosis. Now, you can sign up for the team at KISW.com. If you're a good rider, you want to do it. Or this Saturday, you can hang at Crucible Brewing in Everett and support the KISW Bike MS team. Brewery opens at noon, and $1 per pint will be donated to the National MS Society.
See, it's getting better.
So you don't have to ride.
I can just meet her there.
Crucible Brewing this Saturday at noon, and every pint, $1 will go to the National MS Society.
And being friends with the folks at Crucible Brewing, I would say go there. Avoid the bike ride, but certainly go to Crucible.
They've got a silent auction throughout the day. They've got additional revenue things as well to help out for multiple sclerosis. So if you want to stop by, that's this Saturday. Right. Or if not, sign up for the team at KISW.com. All right, a question, what happened in the water? 206-803-ROCK.
Hello, Mike. Welcome to the Men's Room.
Hola, guys. Happy Windy Wednesday.
Yeah. Hola. Sure.
Yeah. Coincidence, my power just came back on. Cool. Anyway, so I'm 72, 73 in that year. 12, 13 years old, swimming down at East Beach at Green Lake, and the girls come, I'm out on the dock, the girls come swimming out the dock, so 12, 13-year-old boys, what do? We bomb the girls. So we bomb the girls. I'm coming back up out of the water, and some guy jumps in late, catches me right on the bridge of my nose, and I go down to the bottom, realize where I'm at, come back up. Now I've got a deviated septum. I go to lifeguards. They don't do anything, so I got to walk home. So I walk home about a mile up to like 52nd and Green Lake Way. Anyways, do that. The kicker is about 5 years later when I'm in the military, we're playing football out back, and a guy goes to block me and catches the tip of my nose and kicks it off the other direction. So now they're like, ooh, we're done. At the hospital, they wouldn't do anything. So
they didn't run a brain scan or anything?
No.
Damn it.
They sent me to a specialist down in Boston. I was stationed at Fort Devens. They sent me there. The guy grabs the tip of my nose, straightens it back out. He looks at it and goes, it's still crooked. I said, yeah. He says, you have problems breathing? I said, yeah. So, Miles, you know what, I had to get rhinoplasty and straighten my nose back out. It still kicks a little bit to the left, though.
Yeah, it's a weird procedure because they basically put 2 stents on each. You can't believe what they can stick up in your nostrils. Mm-hmm. And then they leave those in there for about 3 or 4 days. And then when they pull them out, you see exactly how big those plastic discs are that they set on each side of your nose.
Are you glad you didn't know how big they were when they went in?
Yeah, because you did the quarter trick for free beers or whatever.
Right, but they didn't go all the way by
These things were bigger than a quarter. They were huge. They went all the way up the sides. And eventually, it's never going to be totally 100% the way it was, but it helps a little. Like I was never able to breathe out of my right nostril.
All right.
But I finally got the ability to kind of do that after the surgery. So it's not perfect, but it's...
Does anyone have any change on it? I thought I had a quarter in there. Because I'm looking at your nose now. See, mine's wide. Yours is going the other way, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think you can get a quarter in there.
These go like slit up this way. Like, so you would put it like that.
Do we need to find a quarter to put up Miles' nose?
I'm just saying, dude, you can fit a quarter in your nose. In the cup on the desk. Yeah, we do. Yeah. We do. I'm just looking because you're talking about it, and I'm like, well, obviously they got, and I'm sure they lube them up and all that. But as you're saying, I'm looking at your nose, and I'm like, from the side, right?
Yeah.
Well, look, you can fit a quarter in there.
Yeah,
you can fit a quarter. But, hey, man, you would still get a beer. I'm telling. The trick was how many you could put in there. So when you're super broke, as I was back in the day, it wasn't about just getting a free beer, but people, by the time you stuffed both of your nostrils, right, it added up to about $2. It's about 8 quarters. And then you snot them back out in your hand. This is important. Snot them back out in your hand, and then offer them back to the guy that gave them to you. 100% of the time, they go, man, just keep it. So you do this like 5 times through the course of the day. I made $10. All right, there's a quarter.
Now be careful.
Yeah, I mean, I don't easily go all the way.
Oh, man, I can't even see it.
Yeah.
That is impressive.
Yeah.
Did you see that, Mike?
Yeah.
The whole thing was gone.
I got a huge ass nose.
I know. I couldn't even do that, man. Wow.
Yes, you could. You're sticking it. Well, I don't.
Just wipe it off. Just wipe it off on your shirt first. I think that's fair. All right. So mine. See, I can't get it. Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Try this. Let's go.
Yeah. Oh, God damn it. Get that thing out. Do you want your quarterback?
It's not my quarter.
Exactly. It works every time.
What happened in the water? 206-803-ROCK.
Looked like a book came out with it.
Maybe. It's a little wetter than it was before I put it in.
What else can you do with a quarter these days?
That's about it, man.
Yeah, that's pretty well it.
Gosh. Where am I going to put it?
Hello, Austin. Welcome to the men's room.
Hola.
Hola.
So, when I was younger, very young, my family would go out to the Green River and go undertubing with one of their friends that my mother had met in high school. And I was so young that I had to be in the lap of either my mother or my father. So one summer while we went out with the friend, I was getting a little rambunctious and I slipped out of their arms and fell into the river. And so the family friend had came out and swam in and saved me. But the man who ended up saving me was the Green River Killer.
It was.
What?
It was Gary Ridgway.
Yeah, it was the Green River Killer. I don't remember the name. Like I said, I was too young. I don't remember what he looked like. I was like maybe 1 or 2.
So did your parents... Your parents share this with you. So I'm sure at some point, the Green River Killer, he's identified. Obviously, it's a big international story. Is that when your parents said, hey, you know what's funny, Austin? As many people as he killed, he also saved your life.
Yeah, that was the weird thing. I think when you go to high school with a serial killer and you're friends with him for 20, 30 years, he just doesn't want to kill you.
Yeah, I mean, I believe he didn't kill his friends. It's still that's a weird take that like everyone else obviously has a horrible story regarding him, and you're like, dude saved my life, so you know.
But your mom was friends with him in high school, and so they knew each other. But that's the main story I guess she tells, other than the other stories which are not, you know.
Well, the other weird thing he would say, is when he took us out, we later in years after he was caught was friends with the state patrol, you know, the people who would, officials that would go out and monitor the river. But back when we went with him, he said, don't worry, guys, you can fish, you can do whatever you want here. I promise you the cops won't find us.
Jesus. Yeah, it takes on a different meaning after you find out what he's done.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So what? I'm just curious to know, so your mom goes to high school with this guy, they remain friends up until the news breaks, so to speak. Mm-hmm. Like, what is her take on this? I mean, is it, man, I saw that coming. Oh, my God, I can't believe that Gary is this guy, or what?
She was shocked. He, according to her, he was a really sweet guy. He would bake cookies. He would do very sweet family man type stuff with his friends, and like invite us out to barbecues and go, like I said, inner tubing with them and fishing, and like he was a very cool dude. except for the other things he did.
All right. Yeah. Well, I will say this. I heard the exact opposite. I heard, and I don't know if I was watching a documentary or if I read something about it, years past, but it was like whenever they asked people about it, him and people who knew him, they're like, oh, yeah, Gary. Oh, that makes total sense. Yeah.
But I feel like we heard that because we've had a couple of people he was co-workers with that have called the show, and they all seemed like they were not terribly shocked when they revealed that it was him. But you're coming from a different perspective. It's through high school. He's a family friend. But I'm convinced, man, and based on, because remember, Jeffrey Dahmer, he volunteered at the school for the blind. But I feel like, put it this way, if we're watching The Simpsons and you said, who's the serial killer? I say Ned Flanders. Who's the nice, like over-the-top nice, doing all the stuff. I feel like somehow that's the guy doing the worst stuff.
Yep.
Exactly.
Our question, what happened in the water? 206-803-ROCK.
I just picture him on a talk show. Like, well, he's not all bad. I mean, saved me when I was a kid. Just happened to be Gary Ridgway.
Hey, at the end of the day, that's the scariest part about
what's that?
Truly evil people.
There's no sign that they're truly evil.
Right. There's two sides, and they can do it so well.
Well, think about it. Ted Bundy, full of charisma, entertaining guy. People may have been a little cocky, but overall, people liked him. There was John Wayne Gacy. Was the guy dresses up like a clown to entertain kids. I'm telling you,
who's the famous guy that hung out with the Beatles?
Manson.
Manson.
Yeah. Charles Manson.
Right? Like people are like,
very charismatic.
Yeah,
very charismatic.
We're going to follow him and this and that. It's wild.
I don't trust nice people, man. I just don't. Barney, children's character, right? Nicest character out there. Serial killer. If you said on the cast...
I'm still thinking Simpsons. So, Barney is not a serial killer.
No. Barney's the serial killer because he's too nice, right? Because everyone else comes to him. Flanders, definitely. I would say on Sesame Street, Elmo's the serial... Because, look...
No, Elmo's already got his own problems, remember?
Right, but I think that leads to other things because he's too nice. I've seen Kermit have conflict. I've seen Miss Piggy have conflict. Even Fozzie Bear, he gets stressed out. You know what I'm saying? But as far as, hey, man, it's always good. It's always good. I made you good. Elmo, serial killer. Sorry, kids. I'm just guessing here. But still, I think of all the Muppets.
I feel like he's got an issue with somebody right now.
Who, Elmo?
Yeah, I think it's somebody's like pet rock. Rocco.
What?
Yeah.
What do you mean he has an issue?
He's got beef. Yeah, he's got beef with it.
Why does he have beef with The Rock?
Because
he's a serial killer.
Whoever owns, quote unquote, whoever is friends with The Rock is just incorporating The Rock in every doggone thing, and Elmo's kind of tired of it. Elmo's losing his.
You're not talking about Dwayne Johnson, right?
No.
I don't like your movie. He's sick of Dwayne Johnson, too.
Yeah,
he is.
Elmo.
Never heard of overexposure?
F that guy. Hello, Jamie. Welcome to the men's room. Hola, Jamie. Yeah, hello.
Jeremy, sorry about that.
Oh, Jeremy, my bad.
I'm a work van, end of the day. No, you're good, you're good. No, just long time listener.
Appreciate that.
You guys are talking about what happened to you in the water. Well, I have a couple stories. First one starts when I was about 11 years old. I was at a family reunion, floating on a log outside of my great-grandmother's house for the water to take me out about, 150 feet, 200 maybe. I look back and my whole family is screaming at me to get off the log and swim. So that was fun. A couple of years later, I was 13, 14, something like that, up in the mountains, Mount Rainier, snowboarding, sledding, doing all the fun stuff you do as a kid. And apparently I walked across a frozen river because it just busted out underneath me and go floating down the river about 50 feet. My stepdad at the time, he was lucky enough to see me go in, so he punched through the ice to grab my hand.
So wait, are you under the ice? Are you on an ice float, or are you just floating free in the water?
No, I was fully under the ice in the river. Yes.
Oh God,
that was probably the scariest moment of my life.
So did you bust through a crevasse?
It just wasn't completely frozen.
I didn't even realize it was a river. I was just snowboarding and sledding around, and then me and a couple buddies started walking somewhere, and they crossed one point, and I was like, okay, that looks crossable. I'm a bigger dude, though. I'm 6'7" now.
Wow.
Back then, I was probably about 6'3". You know, I was a big 13, 14-year-old. So my fat ass was the last one to go across the ice, and I broke through it.
How long were you in the water under the ice?
Probably 20, 30 seconds. Not long at all. But the river was flowing pretty good, and it just so happened that, like I said, my stepdad, he was down the way. He was off skiing somewhere and was coming back, just happened to see me fall through right in time. And he just goes,
Once again, bedroom colors? Here are the 7 words you can't say on the radio. Sucker.
I mean, I get it.
And please keep those words in mind when calling. Now, back to the program.
First time caller, I'm going to get every single word in I can.
All right, Jeremy, I appreciate you hitting at least 2 of the 7 you can't say.
Can't come.
But we get it.
I'm a go-getter.
Yeah,
Trying to get it done.
We get it. And what do you remember what's going through your mind while you're, is it just like, I'm about to die or what?
Pretty much, I am dying. I cannot breathe. I cannot hold my breath, what breath I had. They say, when you hit cold water, everything pushes out of your lungs. I can attest to that. That is a very fact, hard truth.
Well, thank God your stepdad was there.
So how long does it take you to recover from that? After he pulls you out of the water, you got the adrenaline pumping, you just thought you were going to die. I mean, I'm assuming that's the end of the snowboard day.
Yeah. I remember being able to walk back to the truck and turn on the heater, and then as soon as the heater started hitting my body, all the adrenaline went out, and I was just... I bet. Yeah, kind of brings me back to the fun fact of my last name is Wilson. Pretty much everybody references to me as the volleyball from Castaway. So fun fact, this volleyball does not like water.
Okay. Yeah, didn't Wilson float away in the movie? Wasn't it if I remember right? Yeah. He did float away.
Wilson!
Okay, yeah.
Sorry, Wilson.
He never came back?
No.
It's a beach ball or a volleyball.
Yeah, well,
a washback that's farther down the beach like that dude is going crazy.
Actually, I was going to say, maybe the ball was really just...
I'm a volleyball. He keeps talking to me.
I'm out of here.
He's going to die out there. He ain't going to make it.
He won't shut up. I just want to be a ball, and this guy keeps talking to me, man.
It's only a matter of days before he kisses me.
Oh, God.
What happened in the water? 206-803-ROCK.
Anything I could, bro. They'd find me, and they'd be like, why is your penis in the volleyball? I'd be like, do the math.
You know why.
You know exactly why.
Couldn't build a raft. We found some interesting coconuts.
Hello, Ronnie. Welcome to the men's room.
Your husk is so soft.
Hola, gentlemen.
Hola.
Hey, Rockin' Ronnie here.
Rockin' Ronnie. The Rockin' Ronnie?
Hey, yeah, the Rockin' Ronnie.
Get out of it. Not a Rockin' Ronnie. This is the Rockin' Ronnie. Come on, Miles. Get it right, man.
That's right, baby. How you guys doing today?
Doing great, man.
Awesome. So, when I was in my early 20s, I was in Lake Mead with the family, and we were out boating, and we like cliff diving, so we went to a popular cliff diving area. There's a bunch of guys standing up on the mountain, and they were getting ready to cliff dive, and this one middle-aged gentleman dove head first. He had to be like 60 feet. Now, I've jumped off a lot of cliffs, but that was high, and he went head first. I was like, wow. And then 2 more guys, they jumped off a cliff that was a good 20 feet higher than him. They went feet first, and I was like, wow. I mean, this is very impressive. So I climbed up the mountain as well, and I found a cliff that was even 10 feet higher than the other 2 guys jumped. And I looked down, and the boat and everybody in it looked tiny. And I jumped off and held my feet together as hard as I could, and I held my breath, and before I could hit the water, I had to let my breath out and breathe in again because so much time had passed. And then I hit the water so hard that my knees hurt for like a week.
Yeah, that's why I wouldn't cliff dive, man.
You're either going to dislocate your shoulders, or you're going to knock yourself out, or you're going to give yourself an enema.
Yeah, that's basically it, man. There's in Mazatlan, there's a little area where they do this cliff diving, and I can't wrap my head around it. I'll watch them do it. And it takes them a long time to kind of get prepared. And basically, it's just tourist money. Mm-hmm. They'll go out with a hat, whatever. People dropping in like $1. The guy might walk away with $15, and they stroll to the edge of this cliff. It's probably 45 feet up. But as best you can tell, when you look down, man, it's nothing but rocks and spray. And these guys, there's one little area that you can land in. It sounds bad. You don't want to see anyone get hurt, but I cannot help but watch because I cannot believe these guys have sunk it every time.
There's a cliff in Jamaica, in Negril. I think the name of the bar is Nick's. But you jump off the cliff, but all the people in the bar are watching.
Right.
So that's like you kind of you got to do it because everybody, if you get in line, man, you got to.
Once you're in line,
just get a couple beers, get a shot in you. But I was like 2 or 3 people behind, and guy flags up and he holds everybody back for a second. We're like looking down, and then like 5 minutes later, gives a thumbs up. We're like, what the hell's that all about? And he's like, he had to brush a shark out of the cove. It's like, what? Next up. Exactly. Like, now you go. What happened in the water? 206-803-ROCK.
You don't just live in your home. You live in your neighborhood as well. So when you're shopping for a home, you want to know as much about the area around it as possible. Luckily, Homes.com has got you covered. Each listing features a comprehensive neighborhood guide from local experts. Everything you'd ever want to know about a neighborhood, including the number of homes for sale, transportation, local amenities, cultural attractions, unique qualities, and even things like median lot size and a noise score. Homes.com. We've done your homework.
This is the story of the one. As a maintenance engineer, he hears things differently. To the untrained ear, everything on his shop floor might sound fine, but he can hear gears grinding or a belt slipping. So he steps in to fix the problem at hand before it gets out of hand. And he knows Grainger's got the right product he needs to get the job done, which is music to his ears. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
This episode is brought to you by Progressive Insurance. Whether you love true crime or comedy, celebrity interviews or news, you call the shots on what's in your podcast queue. And guess what? Now you can call them on your auto insurance too with the Name Your Price tool from Progressive. It works just the way it sounds. You tell Progressive how much you want to pay for car insurance, and they'll show you coverage options that fit your budget. Get your quote today at Progressive.com to join the over 28 million drivers who trust Progressive. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Price and coverage match limited by state law.
Gatorade. Studied, tested, proven. With over 50 years in the making, it's scientifically researched and game-tested to help replace the electrolytes you lose in sweat. Buy 2 Gatorade 28-ounce bottles for $5 at 7-Eleven today.
What kind of programs does this school have? How are the test scores? How many kids do a classroom? Homes.com knows these are all things you ask when you're home shopping as a parent. That's why each listing on Homes.com includes extensive reports on local schools, including photos, parent reviews, test scores, student-teacher ratio, school rankings, and more. The information is from multiple trusted sources and curated by Homes.com's dedicated in-house research team. It's all so you can make the right decision for your family. Homes.com. We've done your homework.
This episode is brought to you by Progressive Insurance. Whether you love true crime or comedy, celebrity interviews or news, you call the shots on what's in your podcast queue. And guess what? Now you can call them on your auto insurance too with the Name Your Price tool from Progressive. It works just the way it sounds. You tell Progressive how much you want to pay for car insurance, and they'll show you coverage options that fit your budget. Get your quote today at Progressive.com to join the over 28 million drivers who trust Progressive. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Price and coverage match limited by state law.
This is the story of the one. As a maintenance engineer, he hears things differently. To the untrained ear, everything on his shop floor might sound fine, but he can hear gears grinding or a belt slipping. So he steps in to fix the problem at hand before it gets out of hand. And he knows Grainger's got the right product he needs to get the job done, which is music to his ears. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
It's time to dust off your glove, grab your bat, and hit the road for some baseball. But before you head to the game, make sure your ride is in top shape. At Axton Automotive, our skilled mechanics ensure your vehicle is running smoothly so you can focus on cheering for your team. Don't strike out this spring. Get your car ready for baseball season. Visit AxtonAutomotive.com or call 360-685-7976.
What's up? It's your boy, the Ted Smith from the Men's Room. And did you know I have a podcast? Well, I do. The Podcast. New episodes uploaded every Wednesday on the Odyssey app.
99.9 KISW. We return to the Men's Room with Miles and Thrill.
Here's a wild one. A man was taking a bath. He was injured when a car came crashing into his home.
Didn't see that coming.
Crash occurred Sunday afternoon in northwest Oklahoma City. I'm not drunk or anything, obviously, said Jeremy Stewart, the driver of the car that hit the house.
Did he say obviously?
I just fell asleep driving home, but I'm awake now. Stewart drove his Volkswagen Jetta through a brick wall and into the bathroom of the home. He had to have been booking it, said the homeowner, Wynn Melton. Melton was in her kitchen making a sand dough at the time of the accident. I heard a boom, heard him screaming, and the house shook. Melton said she thought the crash was a bomb or earthquake, ran to check on her son. I could see something was terribly wrong. Get me out of here. Get me out of here. I need a towel. Her son was trapped in the bathtub. Bricks were on top of him. The framing was all on top of him. Firefighters quickly arrived and pulled the car out of the bathroom. The tub, the toilet, everything gone, according to the Oklahoma City Fire District Chief, Gary Dean Melton. He was pulled out of the hole that the car created. As for Stewart, they gave him an energy drink and a ticket for distracted driving.
Damn.
Our question, what happened in the water? 206-803-ROCK.
From the text line, it says, I was at Ocean Beach, Maryland in July of 2017 when a huge storm came on our last day. Me and my brother and cousin, we decided to go out and body surf. Well, the waves were almost 10 feet high, and we all thought we were going to die. My cousin ended up a few hundred yards down the beach, and we all got pulled out by lifeguards. All right, well, at the end of the summer, not going to Ocean City, Maryland, but 70 miles up the road, I guess?
Oh, not that far.
I don't even think it's that far.
So real close in Delaware, Bethany Beach, and my kids begging me to go. I'm going to go. Yes, fine. We're there for a week. It's a beach house. My in-laws rent it every year. My son loves to swim, loves splashing around in the water, insists he's not getting in the Atlantic Ocean. There's a pool, right?
Oh, that's fine.
He will go to the pool. He will go to the beach. But he's like, I won't get in the water.
What is his fear?
Well, that's what I said. I'm like, what do you mean you're going to go to the beach and not get in the water? That's dumb as hell. You don't need a tan, my brother. So what is the deal? And he goes, it's the waves. Because that part of it is so choppy. Right? You can go to the Pacific, and it's different kind of breakers to come in, but the Atlantic, basically, they break on you.
They do.
Has he swam in it before?
So they've gone there probably 3 times they can remember, but they were there last year. I was still working, so they were there, and I guess he just got the S beat out of him by these big-ass waves because it's relentless.
Also, he's getting bigger. He's getting taller, he's getting bigger.
The waves are not getting bigger. The waves are not getting smaller, but you are getting taller. The waves aren't as bad. He's like, nope. Because he explained, He said, look, man, I know I'm getting taller, but where they're hitting me, basically at his chin down, he's like, I'm not so much taller that it's a difference. And he said the problem was he just couldn't stand up. And it's hard to explain, but when those waves go back out to sea, they do everything they can to take you with them. Mm-hmm. And when you're used to it, you just got to brace yourself different. I guess he had a slow learning curve last year, but he's like, he will not.
First of all, Miles and I talk about it all the time. I love swimming in the Atlantic Ocean.
Yeah.
But I have gotten crushed.
It will beat your ass, man.
You get spun. You get
spun around. That's the fun of it.
Well, what I mean, when you go down and you get wiped out, you will spin like a washing machine.
Yeah.
And you do not. You have no clue which way is up. And I've swam as hard as I could to the surface and banged my head into the sand at the bottom of the ocean, 10 feet down. Like, oh, God, because it pulls you out.
Yeah, but that's what I think the fun of it is. So, like, when you know that's going to happen, that's kind of your thing. It's like, look, dude, they're going to either they're going to blast your ass back onto the beach or they're going to suck your ass out of the water. But it's not like they suck your ass 1.5 miles out.
I also
hate. But he's not having it.
The other thing is when things swim into you pretty hard and you're like, oh, man, what was that? Because you feel the bump and you look down and the water's all brown, so you don't know, and you're like, okay.
Dude, I was in Mexico a couple of years ago at Castle, and it was a very crowded beach, Pacific, and where the water came into this cove, it came in pretty hard. No big deal, but splashing around, having a good time. And something hit my leg, man, and I jumped the hell out of the water and freaked out. It was the hat for my head.
Oh.
It had gone into the water, gotten wet, and hit me with the brim. But, man, I thought something was biting my leg. I'm like, oh, my God.
Look, I contend to this day I kicked a shark because I've been Ocean City, Maryland, on a boogie board out past where the waves crash.
Yeah.
It just, it had to be at least over, probably up to my head, if not over it. And something I kicked. Yep. It's like the same height as me, but same thing. I mean, I got out of that water very quick. Also, for the guy, did he text that in? He was in Ocean City, Maryland?
Yeah, he texted that in 2017. Yeah.
Now, I will say this. For most people listening to us have never been there.
Yeah.
It's a strip of land. It's a peninsula. But when those storms move in, they put on the air raid sirens.
Right.
You know to get the hell off that beach.
Yes. What happened in the water? 206-803-ROCK.
Hello, Ron. Welcome to the men's room.
What up, guys?
Hola.
Hola. Okay. Well, this happened back when I used to live down in Cali. There was a lake down there, Northern California, called Lake Berryessa. And anybody that lives up here knows this lake because there's a rock that we used to jump off of. But adjacent to the rock is the highway that takes you to the rock. And about, a few feet from the, well, I don't want to say a few feet, a walk from the rock is the bridge that goes over the part of the lake that takes you to the rock. Well, we used to jump off both. And being that we were in drought-stricken California, that water level was, down quite a ways. So we would the Yolo County Sheriff wouldn't jack you up too much if they caught you jumping off the rock, because that was private property. Where if they caught you jumping off the bridge, that's public property, and that would have got you an attempted suicide charge.
Oh, really?
Oh, really? Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, no. Because people would be down on the boats yelling up at the people at the bridge, jump, because we used to jump in groups. And, oh my God. Because they're on the lookout. They tell us, not to jump if they see, because the Yolo County Sheriff would be sitting their boats just around the bend of the rock, and you just see, like, the tip of their boats, and they just be up there just with binoculars, just eagle-eyeing us. They're like, just please jump off that bridge. Oh, yeah, no, they would just, people would jump off, they just come out of the woodwork. Scuba divers would come up out of the water with their ticket book. Like, here you go. Yeah.
What is the fine for attempted suicide? Because it always seems a little dicey to me. If you truly think I'm trying to commit, you know damn well we're doing this for recreation. But if you truly think someone's going to commit suicide, like, what is your punishment?
And if you, God forbid you do you get a ticket?
I don't know the amount. I never got slapped with one because I didn't get caught jumping off the bridge, but I usually stuck to the rock. But I never quite found that out. But I'm sure it was hefty.
That does seem odd. You're going to find somebody like they're already in a terrible headspace.
Do you think you're going to ruin my day?
I don't think a financial fine is going to make
$35. Thanks.
If you're intoxicated, you got cuffs put on you. And 9 times out of 10, people were intoxicated jumping off that bridge.
Well, sure.
It was because with the drought, it was at least 50 feet off the water.
Oh, I'd have to be drunk to do that.
Oh yeah, no. You were falling like that dude said earlier. You're falling forever. Like you take 2 breaths before you hit the water. Feet first. Your arms, because the air pressure would just be vertical, and your hands would slap down water. So, oh my god, you're underwater holding your hands like screaming underwater like because they stink. So, oh my god.
But you would keep doing it anyway, right?
Oh yeah, of course, yeah.
Those are catwalk under a highway bridge. We would drop from that all the time. But the problem was you had to drop between the beams of the bridge.
Right.
So the freaky part was just making it through the gap in the beams. And once you got through there,
you're good to go.
Well, hopefully, if you don't dislocate your shoulder.
We keep talking about ocean. I swear, I think swimming in rivers is the most dangerous.
I would agree.
Because of the currents.
I would absolutely agree.
Especially, I know.
Logs.
Right. And us for this time of year, like, it gets a little warm on the weekends, right? But those rivers are freezing.
What happened in the water? 206-803-ROCK.
Miles, you can almost relate to this one. Text came in. It says, I was swimming with wild dolphins, and a female started masturbating on my foot.
I don't know anything
dolphins
about
are freaky. When you said you took your kids, was it Atlantis and the Bahamas? And they said don't rub their belly, or just make sure you don't get close to their genitalia.
Don't go low to the hoo-ha.
And because what would happen? As they're explaining,
grab your ass and drag you down to the bottom of the lagoon.
And start having sex with you?
That is correct.
Good Lord, man.
You know why they know that? It's happened before.
Yep.
What happened in the water? 206-803-ROCK.
Or there was that dolphin, like, what was it, off the coast of Ireland or something? The people had to stop swimming. It kept humping people.
That was, like 2 or 3 years ago, right?
And I'm being nice. I think that dolphin was doing bad stuff.
Yeah, it was seriously, you'd go swimming and the dolphin's like, oh, yeah. Mm-hmm. I swing both ways, baby. Hello, Stefan. Welcome to the men's room.
Hello?
Hola.
Hola. How you guys doing today?
Doing great, man. Thank you.
Okay. Well, shoot, before I tell my story, I forgot. I met you guys a long time ago at the last Ozfest where Ozzy was at. And before I ever even started listening to you guys, I met you, and I wish I would have known I was going to be a big fan later. That would have been great.
Well, Ozzy kind of distracted from that, I think, a little bit.
Yeah, a little bit. Well, my story is back when I was 16. I got a job on a fishing trawler that we turned into a tugboat. We were taking it through the Panama Canal to put some houses on it in Aberdeen here and take it up to Dutch Harbor. But a week after we went through the Panama Canal, we were going about 3, 4, 5 miles an hour. And I had just got done prepping dinner, and I went to bed. It was about 2 a.m. And hour into sleeping, ton of water starts rushing into my room. Apparently we hit something, and a small hole got put in the bow of the ship, and we were taking on water. It was a small enough amount to where the crew could jump over the side and patch the hole. We didn't think anything of it. We were going about our day. The next day, same thing. I prep dinner, go to bed, or I finish dinner, go to bed, and then wake up about 3 hours later because the ass end of the ship is being pulled down, and I got knocked out of my bed and thrown to the ground. Apparently, the same thing that hit the bow of the boat hit the barge we were pulling, and it was taking on water really fast and pulling us down. So we had to stop dead in the water off the coast of Guadalajara, and the Navy had to come out with helicopters and stuff and land on the small part of the barge that was still showing. And divers went down, patched the hole and stuff, and that was super scary because we almost died two days in a row.
What hit the boats?
We don't know.
Wow. But you ended up still towing that thing all the way up to Dutch Harbor.
We did. They patched it up. We went into L.A., had some more repairs done to it, and we got it up to Aberdeen here. We loaded all the houses on it, and then we took it up to Dutch Harbor.
How long does that trip take?
It took 6.5 months from the start. We started in Galveston, Texas, did some final prep work for the boat. But that was pretty nice. I had a rental car. I got to drive up and down the coast to the Walmart to fill up the ship full of stuff. Nothing better than, being 16 and driving on the coast in a rental car.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, and I've heard it's beautiful down there.
How long does it take to get through the canal? Because you guys went, east to west? I mean, because I've heard it is a very slow process.
Well, from start to finish, it only took about 8 hours. But when we got there, the second we got there, or not the second we got there, we were pulling into, I forget the name, Cologne, and the Navy actually contacted the captain and told him to stand down. He was like, you guys you're like something in line, we're doing war games. So the entire U.S. Navy, like 12 or 15 warships, like 8 or 9 submarines, a bunch of other carriers and stuff, they all got to go through before us. So we had to sit there and wait 4 days for all these other ships and submarines and stuff to go through.
Now, are you allowed to just go and tool around Panama City if you want while this is going on?
Yes. Yes.
See, I wouldn't mind these breaks too
At
much.
16, man,
It's going to take 6.5 months anyway. Yeah, give me a couple landlocked days.
Yeah, but that took me to a couple bars there, so if you want to make a man out of me. I waited till we were done with our trip to tell them that I was already a man before that trip. But,
well, yeah, of course, they're going to buy you drinks.
Yeah, why not?
Let me ask you that. Would you do it again?
Yes, sir.
All right.
That's crazy.
That kind of sounds awesome. Kind of.
Yeah. I mean, it'd be a life experience.
It is. Yeah. My problem is you just know for a fact when you're on the boat, it's too much work. Like, we were watching something the other day, and it showed a farmhouse, and my wife's like, ooh, I really like that. I said, well, I do too, but the problem is there's too much work. Because it was a working farm. Like, they had done something to the house to make it cool, and it was very cool. But then the other scenes on the feeding the horses and plowing all this, and I go, like, everything about this seems cool except that.
I want a barn house.
Right. Now, I don't want a barn.
I want a barn
house. Farm.
I want a barn house where you can shoot hoops in your living room.
Yeah, my wife would love that. My problem is where they're located is not where I want to be.
Right, that's the issue. I know a lot of women that like that. They're like, that's what I want to do. And I'm like, I don't think you fathom how much work you got to put in to live on a farm.
Yeah, man. And I have zero interest in that. What time do you get up? Out. It's just that easy. You know?
All right. I like this kind of living better, Ted. You just get the barn and you live in the house. You don't have to have a farm.
Oh, no. I'm 100% with you. That's awesome. Yeah. I used to play in a Wednesday night pickup game because this guy lived up in Edmonds, was like a friend of a friend, and he had like one of those structures, and he had a half court in there. We would go up there and play 3-on-3.
What happened in the water? 206-803-ROCK.
Hello, George. Welcome to the men's room.
Hola. How you guys doing?
Doing great, George. Thank you.
Okay. Can you hear me okay? I got a pretty spotty signal.
No, you're good, man.
Oh, no worries. So what I want to let you guys know is back when I think I was about 18, a bunch of us guys from high school went up the coast. It's in Australia called Port Macquarie. Everybody, one of us got like drunk out of our brains because we can drink at 18 back there. And the next morning, I decided to get up and take my surfboard and go out, but there was a storm. I can't remember it. It probably wasn't a cyclone, but a very big storm. Decided to go surfing. Nobody else was there. And the first wave, I got tumbled down. And I think you were saying before, when you go, your head's going into the sand and you don't know whether you're going to come back up or not. And I did not know. Next thing you know, I'm like about 3 foot away from the rocks of a breakwater that comes out next to a saltwater estuary river. And I thought my life was gone. But I popped out in the middle of the estuary, which was, the tide was running in, and some fishermen's on the rocks yelling at me, "Your surfboard." And of course I had a leg rope, and I was too stupid to think, okay, why don't I just pull the leg rope in and get on my surfboard and I ended up floating down the river, going into the middle of town, and then having to walk all the way back to the campsite with my surfboard under my arm, with all these people looking at me, tourists and all that sort of stuff. But the stupid thing is I got back, and my buddies were all still drunk and asleep, and they didn't believe me when I said what happened.
Wouldn't that be one of the most, isn't it one of the most dangerous places as far as sharks, where the rivers and the tributaries meet the ocean, as far as where they go and feed and all that? Like, basically, you've just floated down, like, where all the sharks are waiting to eat, right?
And those guys are there on the breakwater. As I'm going down, they're looking at me going, "Who is this idiot floating down?"
Because
my name's George. I'm the idiot.
There's a reason the fishermen are there, because the sharks are going to eat those fish too. So
Right. And that's what they say. So the tributaries, I'm not sure whether it's when the tide's coming in, the tide's going out, they got all the charmin or whatever, and that's where the sharks come in. But yeah, that was smart, right?
Hey, George, just so you know, a text came in. I'll read it verbatim. "Please tell sexy Australian dude to call back every day. Quote, women everywhere."
Yes. And send in your legitimate bloomin' onion recipe to us.
Yeah, I eat bloomin' onions every day, right?
Yeah, exactly. Kookaburra onions. Now that's a knife.
Yeah. I was going to say, I think seeing a guy walking down the street in Australia with a surfboard, I'd be like, Australia.
Yeah, I wouldn't give it another thought.
Yeah. What happened in the water? 206-803-ROCK.
You don't just live in your home. You live in your neighborhood as well. So when you're shopping for a home, you want to know as much about the area around it as possible. Luckily, Homes.com has got you covered. Each listing features a comprehensive neighborhood guide from local experts. Everything you'd ever want to know about a neighborhood, including the number of homes for sale, transportation, local amenities, cultural attractions, unique qualities, and even things like median lot size and a noise score. Homes.com. We've done your homework.
This episode is brought to you by Progressive Insurance. Whether you love true crime or comedy, celebrity interviews or news, you call the shots on what's in your podcast queue. And guess what? Now you can call them on your auto insurance too, with the Name Your Price tool from Progressive. It works just the way it sounds. You tell Progressive how much you want to pay for car insurance, and they'll show you coverage options that fit your budget. Get your quote today at Progressive.com to join the over 28 million drivers who trust Progressive. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Price and coverage match limited by state law.
This is the story of the one. As a maintenance engineer, he hears things differently. To the untrained ear, everything on his shop floor might sound fine, but he can hear gears grinding or a belt slipping. So he steps in to fix the problem at hand before it gets out of hand. And he knows Grainger's got the right product he needs to get the job done, which is music to his ears. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Gatorade. Studied, tested, proven. With over 50 years in the making, it's scientifically researched and game tested to help replace the electrolytes you lose in sweat. Buy 2 Gatorade 28-ounce bottles for $5 at 7-Eleven today.
99.9 KISW. The Men's Room returns with Miles and Thrill.
Coming up at 4:30, who sucks less? Right after emails on our question, what happened in the water? 206-803-ROCK.
Hello, Andy. Welcome to the Men's Room.
Hola, bitch, hola.
Hola.
Hey, real quick, I just want to say, Steve, I'm pretty sure it was you last week who totally blistered that donkey about you mispronouncing Hagen. I absolutely loved it.
Mispronouncing? What did I mispronounce?
Oh, that was me. The grocery store.
Oh, it was you?
Oh.
Yeah, Hagen.
Hagen. I still don't know which way it goes.
Yeah, that was awesome. That was super awesome. Anyway.
People are real fired up about that.
I did not know. Who knew?
You dumbass.
Sorry. Yeah, you guys went off on him. That was great. I loved it. down in Humboldt County for reggae on the river, and we were camped just a few feet off the river, and just downstream from our campsite was a nice little swimming hole. And some guy decided to get cute and block the pumper truck for the porta potties. And by day 2, it was like dodging mines swimming in that hole.
I wouldn't be swimming in that hole.
Yeah, I'd avoid that at that point.
Yeah, I did, but the amount of drugs that got passed around down there, it was one of those where you didn't really think you were seeing what it was until a couple of tampons came down, and it was a free for all where we were at that campsite because the pumper truck. I mean, long story short, but the pumper truck couldn't get in. The hose wasn't long enough, and one night I got some free mushrooms from a guy and decided I'd be a good Samaritan and take the free offering on an empty stomach, and went to the porta potty, and this big giant guy comes walking out, and he's missing the sleeve because there's no toilet paper.
Oh.
And I opened the door to the porta potty, and the S is crowned, totally crowned to the top of the seat. It was one of the worst experiences I've ever had in my whole life.
Could you see his sleeve sitting in the corner?
It was on top of the pile.
Oh, God.
I think there's a reason the older you get, the more the festival lifestyle at times. Like, I'm just going to sleep in my own bed.
Yeah, that's part of it.
Let's have an RV.
Man, they pumped the port Monday. So we're off on Monday, and I have some people staying in my house. 6 of us are sitting in the backyard. It is a nice day. We're just enjoying it. So they're doing construction on 2 houses behind us. And at the end of their day, the porta potty pump truck came up. That's when we went in. I cannot explain the wave of stink that hit us. It was, and like I said, it was such a nice day, and we're chilling. I'm drinking beer. The ladies are drinking wine. I mean, it's that kind of day, right? Kids are outside playing, and you could hear the truck pull up. Didn't really give it any thought. I knew what it was. Didn't give a thought. About 45 seconds, just like, oh my God, man! It was like we all just grabbed our glasses and went inside.
It happened to me in Burien 2 weeks ago.
Really?
I was at a stoplight. I'm sitting there. I'm like, golly, man, what is that smell? And 2-lane road, keep going down the road, following this truck, and then I'm like, oh, that's a septic truck.
Yeah.
I don't know if it was a porta potty truck. I think it was like when you suck out septic systems.
Sure.
That kind of thing on people's homes.
Either way, crap smells like crap.
Yeah, then it all hit me. I was like, oh, I got to close the sunroof. Like, this is just absolutely horrific.
You learn when you go to enough festivals, too. Like, some of the Honey Bucket guys, they drive around all day. They listen to the show. So, like, one year on, like, Thursday night, I saw one of the Honey Bucket guys. He's like, Ted Smith, what's up, dude? I'm like, hey, tell me what time you're coming by in the evenings. And he told me, and me and my buddies would time it out. You'd get in there. They were spotless. We do one of the S's, and then we'd go over and take a shower.
That's the move, man.
Oh, it was beautiful.
What happened in the water? 206-803-ROCK.
Hello, Nicole. Welcome to the men's room.
Hello, hola.
Hola.
So this was a long time ago. This was back in the Twilight craze time. I was in my late 20s, and at the time, my husband thought that he would take his family and his wife on that Twilight drive and, go see the Queets and all that.
The nothing.
We went camping.
Is it worth it, even as a Twilight fan, is it worth it when you get to Forks? So no. Okay.
They have one little store where they sell merchandise, if I remember correctly.
It was a little anticlimactic. That I'll say that. So we're at
kind way of putting it.
We're at Queets Beach camping, camping like that is annoying to me because I live in the woods on an acre, and if I'm going to go in the woods and go camping, I don't want to have my neighbor right next to me.
Yeah, that's fair.
I don't have neighbors right next to me on a normal day. So here we are. We're at the beach, and my kids are in the water. They're 6 and 9. And my 9-year-old, she was born preemie. She never really recovered in weight. So at 9 years old, she was, probably about 25, 30 pounds spitting wet.
Damn. Okay.
If you know kids, that's a really tiny kid. So she's about the same size as her 6-year-old sister. And I'm sitting there taking pictures of them in the water. And my husband, he's actually a captain in the Army for watercraft. And I didn't see it when I was taking the pictures, but all of a sudden this wave comes and It was Riptide. And I dropped the camera. It took my 6-year-old first. This is my testament to let your girls grow long hair, because that 3-foot ponytail saved your life. I ran in that water and I tackled my kids. I felt that current pull so hard and grabbed her ponytail and wrapped it around my arm like a rope and pulled her in. And then her sister was next, and they both had long hair, and grabbed whatever I could of her. And I fought that effing Riptide all the way in. And me and my husband at the time, we were laying in our tent that night, and we were just like, the realization of we almost lost both of our kids that day to a Riptide hit us. It was pretty magnanimous.
And they're in Forks.
And yeah.
Just to make it worse. How long did it take you, once you got a hold of them, to drag their ass out of the water?
I don't know how long it took. When you're in a traumatic situation like that, it feels like forever.
Of course.
But at that point in my life, I was swimming for triathlons.
Oh, okay.
So
that helps. That really did help.
I'm pretty good in the water, but my 6-year-old, she later on said, I kind of knew something was wrong, and I dug my fingers into the sand, and I felt like I knew as long as my hands were in the sand, I knew I was going to be okay. But if I got out of if my hands got out of the sand, I was gone. At 6 years old, she recognized that.
Yep. Yeah, I think survival instinct kicks in quick. It just sucks to be that young and have to go through that.
Have you been back to Forks?
Have I been back? I have been back.
Why?
It took me a while. It took me a while to go, and I did go back to that spot, and I did meet the water. The ocean is my favorite place to be.
Okay.
But I have a deep respect for the ocean. My boyfriend calls me a little otter.
I would have a...
But that's because of your face.
I would have a deep respect for the Lake Quinault Casino and Steakhouse, and I would be in a hotel room there. And then I'll do the day drive. How's that? I'll meet you there.
I mean,
the
peninsula is beautiful.
Yes.
I've been out there a couple times. Yeah, just even like, as I say, going into Forks, like right there on the Solduck River, there's a big famous lake out there. Like Forks is Forks is a town on the middle out there. It's a little sad and depressing.
So basically, right, everything's beautiful until you get to your destination.
And then when you go past Forks, then there's La Push. There's a few really just stunning beaches.
Yeah, and we did all the beaches. So from then on, it irritated my kids, but anytime we would go to the beach and we go to the ocean, I also grew up riding horses, and I've been trained with the mindset: you fall off, you dust yourself off, you get back on the horse, broken arm and all. That's actually another true story. I rode my horse out with a broken arm. And so I took my kids back, and we sat back, and I showed them. I said, okay, see that right there? See that right there? See that calm water that looks like that's where you want to swim? I said, that's where you almost died.
Thanks, Mom. Yes. Then a creeper wave came out. Washed y'all back in.
There. I said, so if you want to swim, you got to look for these poles right here. And ever since then, anytime we would go out and we'd be on the beach or we'd be out, I'd see families having fun, and I'd see little kids near these poles. And I'd go up to the parents and I would say, look at that, look at that, look at that. Get your kid out of the water. Because I almost lost mine.
Yep. Yeah, you know what you're looking for.
Well, Nicole, just someone just texted and said, same thing happened to me and my sons in Forks at the beach. The water is vicious.
I've been on that beach. I've never been in that water.
Apparently, don't do it.
No.
That seems to be the message from everyone.
Mm-hmm. What happened in the water? 206-803-ROCK.
Hello, Dave. Welcome to the men's room.
Good afternoon.
Hola.
Okay, so I was born and raised in Salt Lake City, Utah, and we live, I don't know if you guys know the town Bountiful. It's right next to Salt Lake. There's rivers, they're creeks that come down during the snow melt, and most of the year there's nothing really there, just a little trickle of water. But in the springtime, they're running pretty good. And most of the way, they're just a natural river. But as they go through the city, they turn into a canal. So it's a concrete canal with chain link fences on either side. So my sisters are like, hey, wouldn't it be fun to float this? I'm like, well, yeah, let's go. So it was me, my 3 sisters, and a couple of their friends. So we put in right before the chain link fence, and we're like, let's see where it takes us. And it went through the city, through the town, under a couple roads. But then there was this huge 4-way intersection, and it went down into a tunnel, and we couldn't see. We couldn't see anything. It was pitch black, and you could hear water rushing ahead. And I was thinking we were going to get impaled by a branch that was stuck sideways in the tunnel. But it dropped about 10 feet, just a sudden rushing drop, and then another, I don't know, black space for a while, and we came out. All in all, it was probably a 20-minute ride, but it was the scariest time of my life in that tunnel.
You're saying 20 minutes in the tunnel?
No, 20 minutes total from where we put in to where we got out on the other side of town.
And then you hiked your ass back on a raft?
No, we had 2 cars. We dropped one at the other end of town.
All right, you know what you're doing.
Yeah, but we didn't really know where, we knew where point A and B was, but in between, it was a total question mark.
How terrifying was it when you're in pitch black?
It was scary because you couldn't see anything at all, like in nothing. But the funny thing is that we had so much fun that the next year we did it again, but this time we brought headlamps and wetsuits.
I was going to say, was the roof covered in bats?
I couldn't see it the first time, but the second time it was just moss. It was just dirty.
Okay, because anytime I've been underground or in a situation where there's running water and, it's covered and it's cold or it's, bats everywhere.
Sure.
It's kind of like their hangout, What happened in the water? 206-803-ROCK.
Hello, Melinda. Welcome to the men's room.
Hola, gentlemen.
Hola.
So my story, when I was in college, I took a sailing and canoeing class, and I loved sailing. I just thought it was great. And these were really small boats. They only held like 2 people. So when I got out of school, I decided I was going to get my own sailboat. So I got a boat about the same size, and my sister and I took it out on Lake Washington probably in May, so it's still pretty early in the year. And when we were out there, this huge storm came up, and there was big white caps crashing over the boat, and we couldn't control the sail at all. And we could just feel ourselves tipping over. And we learned how to right a sailboat, get it upright again, but we couldn't do it. The water was so cold, we had no energy. And so the sailboat ended up tipping completely upside down, so mast pointing downwards. All we could do was crawl on top of the hull and just lay there. And some people saw us, so they called the Coast Guard, and the Coast Guard came out and rescued us and got the boat upright and towed us into shore.
Now, what
it was really
is
embarrassing. A lot of people were watching.
Well, I mean, I get it, but life or death, I'm not embarrassed yet. But what is their methodology with rescuing off the hull of the boat? I mean, it's probably not a helicopter rescue, so that toss you a rope, toss you a ring, what?
That part's a little fuzzy because I remember just being so cold. I don't really remember what was going on, but somehow they got the boat tipped upright because, with the mast pointed down, they can't get it too close to shore and start dragging in the mud. So, but anyways, I was embarrassed, and I decided I needed more sailing lessons. So I signed up for a class through Lake Washington. And on the first day of class, it turned out our instructor was one of the Coast Guard guys that rescued us.
Did he remember you?
I bet he was pumped to see you in class.
He did. He looked at me and he goes, "You're the girl we rescued." Yeah.
Small world. That's crazy.
But like Ted said, probably glad. I'm glad you're taking another class.
All right, you guys could use this course.
What happened in the water? 206-803-ROCK.
Hello, Michael. Welcome to the men's room.
Hola.
Hola.
So here we are. There's about 12 of us one nice hot sunny day. About 3 years ago, we were floating down the river. Kids and everything were all watching out for each other. And we pulled off to the side in this one area it's the only area that has rapids. In the area up in, I believe, Arlington area, that is where we were floating down the river. And so we pulled off to the side and had snacks. Well, these two little old ladies and their dog came floating down the river behind us. And they're probably in their 60s, you know. And so the first lady, she goes through, and the second lady comes behind her, and her inner tube dips down, and she gets sucked under this white water, this rapid area, and there's this fallen tree on the other side, and she gets pushed up under in between two branches and stuck there. Her dog goes a little bit further down, but we'll get to that in a second. So me and my brother Sean ran, and we dove into the river. We swam to this woman, and we got her. He pulled the branch back. I pulled her out. We got her to the side of the river. Sean went back down and found the dog that was like attached to a tree, floating, trying to swim. And after we got them out, it was about 15 or 20 minutes before we saw the next person come down the river. And I looked at those ladies, and I was like, you could have died.
Oh, yeah. They're probably like, yeah, we know. Or at least we knew at the moment we were stuck in the branch.
That's why I like Oregon for a float. The water's warm. It's calm like the Sun River. It's just kind of hang out and chill, waist deep. You can stand up if you want.
And that guy just described Mike's worst nightmare.
Doesn't get too crazy.
What, like getting trapped? Well, you said you're close enough to the surface to see people trying to help you, but...
Or at least that I could see air up there, yeah, just underneath the surface. I don't know why that's worse. Drowning probably is my worst fear of death. But to be that close, it's almost like torturing me with life.
It's like people get stuck under the ice.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm. And all you hear is people...
horrifying.
Still to come, the return of Who Sucks Less coming up in about 20 minutes, and we've got your emails on the way next from the men's room at KISW.com.
You don't just live in your home. You live in your neighborhood as well. So when you're shopping for a home, you want to know as much about the area around it as possible. Luckily, Homes.com has got you covered. Each listing features a comprehensive neighborhood guide from local experts. Everything you'd ever want to know about a neighborhood, including the number of homes for sale, transportation, local amenities, cultural attractions, unique qualities, and even things like median lot size and a noise score. Homes.com. We've done your homework.
This episode is brought to you by Progressive Insurance. Whether you love true crime or comedy, celebrity interviews or news, you call the shots on what's in your podcast queue. And guess what? Now you can call them on your auto insurance, too, with the Name Your Price tool from Progressive. It works just the way it sounds. You tell Progressive how much you want to pay for car insurance, and they'll show you coverage options that fit your budget. Get your quote today at Progressive.com to join the over 28 million drivers who trust Progressive. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Price and coverage match limited by state law.
With an American Standard heat pump system, the future of heating and cooling your home is already here. Bringing constant comfort to your home, American Standard heat pumps are energy efficient, reliable, and ready for tomorrow, today. Plus, making the upgrade from your traditional furnace or AC unit is easier than ever before with home energy offers, rebates, and tax credits. Learn more at americanstandardair.com/electrification. American Standard, built to a higher standard.
Better health isn't always about the big things. Sometimes it's a nudge from a friend, or a head nod from a fellow jogger, or even a smile from across the breakfast table when you've decided to pass on the bacon. It's the little things that lead to better health, and Regence is here as a partner, opening doors to the care you need, no matter the size, because it all adds up to something big, a healthier you. Regence Blue Shield. Together we health.
What kind of programs does this school have? How are the test scores? How many kids do a classroom? Homes.com knows these are all things you ask when you're home shopping as a parent. That's why each listing on Homes.com includes extensive reports on local schools, including photos, parent reviews, test scores, student-teacher ratio, school rankings, and more. The information is from multiple trusted sources and curated by Homes.com's dedicated in-house research team. It's all so you can make the right decision for your family. Homes.com. We've done your homework.
This is the story of the one. As a maintenance engineer, he hears things differently. To the untrained ear, everything on his shop floor might sound fine, but he can hear gears grinding or a belt slipping. So he steps in to fix the problem at hand before it gets out of hand. And he knows Granger's got the right product he needs to get the job done, which is music to his ears. Call, click Granger.com, or just stop by. Granger, for the ones who get it done.
This episode is brought to you by Progressive Insurance. Whether you love true crime or comedy, celebrity interviews or news, you call the shots on what's in your podcast queue. And guess what? Now you can call them on your auto insurance too with the Name Your Price tool from Progressive. It works just the way it sounds. You tell Progressive how much you want to pay for car insurance, and they'll show you coverage options that fit your budget. Get your quote today at Progressive.com to join the over 28 million drivers who trust Progressive. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Price and coverage match limited by state law.
It's time to dust off your glove, grab your bat, and hit the road for some baseball. But before you head to the game, make sure your ride is in top shape. At Axton Automotive, our skilled mechanics ensure your vehicle is running smoothly so you can focus on cheering for your team. Don't strike out this spring. Get your car ready for baseball season. Visit AxtonAutomotive.com or call 360-685-7976.
What's up? It's your boy, the Ted Smith from the Men's Room. And did you know I have a podcast? Well, I do. The Podcast. New episodes uploaded every Wednesday on the Odyssey app.
The debauchery rolls on. You're listening to the Men's Room with Miles and Thrill. 99.9 KISW.
Who sucks less in 10 minutes? But first time for a few emails from the Men's Room at KISW.com.
You've got
One from our question, what happened to the water, guys? My friend Pat and I just finished a bottle of Wild Turkey 101. Several feet of snow. We got the cool idea of swimming in the Tongues Narrow. Drove to just about the end of the island to a quiet spot, left our clothes and our old VW Bug so we could have something dry when we got back, climbed down 25 feet to the shoreline, jumped in. Not long after, we saw the biggest set of nostrils I've ever seen. And
Jay-Z.
yes, really can walk on water. What was in the water up there in Alaska? The biggest set of nostrils. Sea lion?
Yeah, sea lions have big nostrils.
Orcas don't have nostrils.
I mean, it's on top of their head.
They have a
It's
blowhole.
big, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, technically, it's a nostril.
Yeah, I mean, it's one big nostril. Oh, let's see. On to the birthdays. Guys, can we get a birthday shout-out for my nephew, Camden? He is 6 years old, already knows the shot of the day by heart and the toast. Can he get a fart parade and some advice from Coach Ted on why being 6 is better than being 5? Thanks, guys, and we love you. Lots of love from Auntie Johnny and Uncle Liz.
Oh, my God. What's this guy's name?
Camden.
Camden, yeah.
He's 6 years old today.
Not calling him a kid anymore. He's 6, man. It's a dude. It's a man.
You are officially a dude.
Yep. One of the bros. First of all, things are going to be a little bit easy, all right? You're going to know how to work that body a little more, all right? I don't know if you swim yet. This year, we're swimming. Bicycles, we're riding them. No more training wheels. Other than that, too, probably going into kindergarten or first grade at 6.
Probably kindergarten, I think.
Yeah.
Just turning 6.
Yeah, well, you know what? Hannah, you do me a favor, all right? You do the Ted Smith a favor. And you enjoy those snacks and you enjoy those naps.
Good afternoon, fellas. Hoping to get a birthday shout-out for our son, Kian. He's 15 years old. He is overseas in Germany on a school trip.
Yeah.
So we're hoping to get Coach Ted to talk to him to let him know to keep it safe and hopefully maybe a dad joke or two from Miles. Thanks, guys. That from Shane and from Casey.
All right, I don't say where he's at in Germany, huh?
Does not. Overseas on a school trip in Germany. That's nice.
That is excellent. First thing I would say is you got to be careful. Do not get hurt. All right? Whoever's chaperoning this trip does not want to have to take you to a hospital in a foreign land. Second of all, Germany. I was over there 2 years ago. Beautiful country, some attractive women. Live it up. And then, you know, they'll tell your parents, but you're 15. The rules might be a little different. They're famous for certain things in Germany. You do you, man. Play it safe.
All right, dad jokes. I got to make them appropriate. 15. Why was the hot dog put in timeout?
Because it kept whining, weaning?
I don't know.
It was being a brat.
All right.
Did you guys know that everyone that night at karaoke told Sam not to sing?
No.
But Sam sung anyway. And unfortunately, guys, a horse came into my room last night while I was asleep.
I don't even want to think where that ever goes.
It was a nightmare.
All right. Yep. Okay.
And let's see here. All of shows today is my best friend Leo's birthday. He is my brother from another mother. Can you please help him celebrate by giving him a Ray Lewis? Time to take off the leash. Some turtles having sex. An uh-oh, look out, and wedding puke. Thanks, guys. Love the show.
It's time to take off the leash.
Uh-oh, look out.
Guys, sending myself a shout out. Can I get Coach Ted giving me advice on turning 40, a barbershop fish sandwich, and you guys talking all over yourselves about Del Paso Heights? Listen on the app. No need to listen to 98 Rock in Sacramento anymore. Thanks for showing this city what real radio sounds like, guys. That from Jason.
Can I get a fish sandwich? Oh, you know I gotta eat right. Oh, brother, can I have a fish sandwich? You put the cheese and the tartar on the side.
All right, turning 40 is a big one. First of all, I hope you have a big party. At least have some people together. Let them celebrate you, all right? You made it to 40. Second of all, it's not that bad. Remember, like 30? Somehow 40 is even less exciting. You just wake up, you're like, all right, I'm 40. Now, the big things you got to do, get that physical and stretch.
Del Paso Heights. To be honest,
I have no idea where Del Paso Heights is.
I'm just saying something like an idiot trying to say El Paso, but I was in El Paso.
I know where old El Paso is.
I guess it's outside of San Francisco.
It's nice that we still have some listeners from the old syndication days. Still check out the show.
It is. It's very flattering, man. Very cool.
Ola, you ugly dinosaurs. I want to say happy birthday to my wife, Christina, as she's leveling up to 42. How about a fish sandwich, green beans, and some dad jokes for Miles? Thanks, guys, for doing what you do from her loving husband, Michael.
Do I get a fish sandwich?
Green bean.
What?
Green bean.
Okay.
Green bean.
Chum.
Green bean.
Guys, you're not going to believe this. I just bought a wig for $1.
You bought a $1 wig.
It was a small price to pay.
Okay. All right.
Can I tell you guys what I know about dwarfs? Can I tell you what I know about dwarfs?
Yes, you can.
Very little.
Very little, yeah.
And my favorite of the day, what's the difference, Ted, between a lost golf ball and Lady Godiva?
You can never find them?
One is a hunt on a course. All right, guys, here we go.
Happy, happy, happy birthday. Happy, happy, happy birthday. Happy, happy, happy birthday to you, to you, to you.
Yas, a dirty German is brought to you by Men's Room Regional Sausage. Available through Uli's world famous sausage, mensroomlive.com, and other fine retailers. Schweinefleisch.
Take a while, but no, it's not a problem. I ran through Steve earlier, so it should be okay.
You know I'm the best filter.
I'm about to say, you're the best judge over here.
All right. Thank you for continuing to send in the Men's Room IPA beer locations from Black Raven Brewing. We've got a couple new ones for you. Guys, just bought a six-pack of the Men's Room IPA at the 7-Eleven in Lump Whistle.
Lump Whistle?
Lump Whistle.
That is a beautiful name.
Have a great day from the Platypus Man. Lump Whistle.
Lump Whistle.
I've been here 20 years, never heard of Lump Whistle.
I have never heard of that either.
Yes. I would remember if I'd heard of it.
Ola fellas, finally the Safeway in Fairwood has your beer. I'm a big IPA guy, and this would rival any I've had over the years. Great smooth finish with just enough citrus and bitterness. Thank you for the work, fellas, and thank you, Black Raven Brewing. P.S. They didn't have any in stock after I left. I'm from Chris and Fairwood who cleaned out the shelf.
Oh, nice.
Yes. Looks like I killed the keg at Flight Path in Burien. Good news, we're going to have more real soon. All right. That's a chat. We got it done. Hey, guys, Mercer Island Pizzeria Mio Posto now carries Men's Room IPA from Black Raven on tap and to go in six-packs.
Okay.
Where's that at?
Mio Posto on Mercer Island. I believe they have 3 or 4 locations around the area.
All right.
I have not had their pizza. I heard it's really good. That from Andrew, who is the general manager at Mio Posto. Let's see what else we got there. Couple extra locations where you can find the Men's Room IPA. How about Northwest Breweries, the Loose Wheel Bar and Grill, Fisherman's Restaurant, the Ringer's Pub and Grill, the Lucky Silver, Toscano's Italian Kitchen, the Gas Lamp Tavern, Imbibe Bottle House and Tap Room. Also available at Zig's Pizza and Tacoma, the Redmond Bar and Grill, the Rainier Bar and Grill, the West Seattle Golf Course. Give it up for Dan. QFC in Kirkland, the Dead Knot Brewing Company, Jones Famous Salsa, also carrying our beer, as well as the 7-Eleven in Puyallup, Odom Samples in Kent, the Roosevelt 76 gas station, the Longhouse Market in Delhi, the Safeway on North Proctor, the Manor Market, the Hagen in Lake Tabbs.
You mean the Hagen?
And the Hagen in Lake Stevens. I know it's the Hagen. And the Inner Lake Grocery. And thank you for continuing to send those in to the men's room at KISW.com. All right, coming up, we will drink and toast with the shot of the day. But first,
now, the men's room wants to know who sucks last?
Yay! Time for Who Sucks Last. Stephen Thrill, you bring us 3 stories from the news each and every week. They all suck, but it's up to us to determine out of these 3 stories, which one sucks the least. Now, if you happen to follow KISW on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, debate is already underway on Who Sucks Last.
Yes, indeed. And all 3 of these stories, I guess their commonality is fraud in the end. But the first story here, I believe our very own Mike Hawk covered this last week, but it's a story where after matching with a man on a dating app, a woman in Iowa, she exchanged texts with him before arranging to meet him in person at her place. But when Samaya Thomas got cold feet, she dialed 911. And in a remarkably stupid bid to avoid the IRL interaction, all right, look, she lives in an Iowa City suburb. She called police to report that her abusive ex-boyfriend had shown up outside of her residence and was sending her threats via Snapchat, threatening to, quote, hit, punch, kick, and stab her. She claimed that she had known this man for 2 years and that she was pregnant with his baby. Well, officers obviously responded to the home, and they encountered a male leaving the scene, and they began an in-depth investigation about the reports being made. Now, the man, who was detained by police, he explained he'd only began speaking with Thomas just over a week ago on a dating app. Then he provided the text messages that showed he was, in fact, being honest. He really did just meet this woman. Well, after multiple interviews with police, Thomas finally admitted, okay, I've been lying, claiming that she got cold feet on meeting him and no longer wanted to. So she fabricated her tales of abuse because she didn't think officers would help if she didn't make all of this crap up with the call. So she had to make it urgent, say this guy's an abusive ex-boyfriend. He's threatening to harm me. Obviously, the cops, they detained him, but he explained his way out of it pretty quickly because he was telling the truth. Anyway, she was arrested for placing a false 911 call and making a fake report of an indictable offense, both of which are misdemeanors. So instead of just calling the guy and saying, you know what, man, I don't feel good about this, she called 911 and said, this guy's going to stab me and I'm pregnant with his baby. Seems a bit extreme. That's just me, you know. Now we go to Texas, where the Federal Bureau of Investigation, they're investigating 3 medical center institutions after a whistleblower came forward accusing 3 heart surgeons of violating regulations during complicated operations. So on Monday, the FBI posted on X saying that the doctors had gambled with their patients' care during complicated open heart surgeries, compromising quality care, blah, 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 blah. In other words, the doctors lied but billed the insurers anyway, okay? So they still billed Medicaid for reimbursement of the services that they didn't actually do. So according to the U.S. Attorney, there's 3 separate doctors from 3 separate Texas institutions, although they've jointly agreed to pay $15 million to, quote, resolve the claims. Now, according to the attorney's office, the investigation began August 7th, 2019, when a whistleblower alleged that the 3 doctors regularly ran 2 operating rooms at the same time and then delegated key aspects of an extremely complicated heart surgery to unqualified medical residents. All right, so the lawsuit says that the heart surgeries at hand are some of the most complicated operations performed at any hospital, including coronary artery bypass grafts, valve repairs, and aortic repair procedures. The attorney's office said that the surgeries typically involved opening of the patient's chest, placing the patient on a bypass machine for some portion of the time. But according to the lawsuit, the surgeons ran 2 operating rooms at once and failed to attend the surgical timeout, which is a critical moment when the entire team would pause and identify key risks to prevent surgical errors. They're not there, basically, for your double check. We didn't leave tongs inside of the body. There's no sponge inside of a valve, etc. But the doctors were accused of hiding this information by falsely attesting on medical records that they were physically present for the entire operation. The irony of this is not one of them was fired or lost their license. Just, yeah, man, we'll pay you $15 million back. Keep in mind, the $50 million goes back to Medicaid, not any of the patients that they put in danger. And finally, here is one of the weirdest stories that I've ever read in my life. Police in India, they're investigating an incident that saw a man wake up in the hospital to find that he was, and I quote, tricked into a sex change operation as part of a bizarre land grab attempt. So the 20-year-old man from a village in the northern state there, known only as Mujahid, he accused another man, Prakash, of misleading him into believing he had an urgent medical issue that needed to be solved. So after going to a hospital, he was put under the knife by a team of trained doctors on June 3rd of this year. Following the surgery, Mujahid woke up to find that the surgeons had removed his genitals. Quote, "When I regained consciousness, I had told that I'd been changed from a boy to a girl." Meanwhile, the guy who masterminded this, Prakash, he told Mujahid that Mujahid would now have to live with him as he'd be ostracized by friends and family. He also threatened to shoot Mujahid's father and seize his share of the family's land. Quote, he said, "I changed you from a man to a woman. You now have to live with me. I prepared a lawyer and prepared a court marriage for you. Now I will shoot your father for the land share. It'll be named after me, and then I'll sell it, blah, blah, blah." But instead of being cast out by the local community, workers from a local farmers union, they set up a protest at the hospital that did the surgery, calling for an immediate legal and criminal action against Om Prakash and the involved doctors. So local cops have since arrested Om Prakash and are said to be investigating the involved doctors. Meanwhile, Mujahid's family, they're also suing, claiming that his life has been severely affected by the surgery. And you follow along with that? Yeah. So, Ted, I want your land.
Right.
So I've convinced you somehow that you need a medical procedure. When you wake up, basically, they're giving the hormones, the whole thing. They took your genitals. Now I'm arguing with you saying, so now I'm going to marry you, which gives me the land rights, and then I'm going to sell that land to another bidder. That is the plan. That is what's going on.
Did they arrest the doctors as well?
They are investigating the doctors because obviously they had to either be misled or be complicit in the idea of removing the genitals.
That would seem very hard to, like, it's all insane. But, like, the fact you convinced this guy to go in there and then the what did you tell the doctors that they were like, okay, I guess we'll just give him a sex change?
I mean, look, it could be part of, like, I'll split the money with you. You know, I don't know, but it's the only thing I can guess because several doctors are involved in the operation.
And it was just for the land. He didn't even love him.
Just for the land, didn't love him, nothing like that. Wasn't pining after him. It's just like, but if I marry you, you know, I get the rights to this land because that's the tradition in that village. So let me make you a woman without you knowing you're going to be a woman.
That one sucks the most.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with you. That one's pretty easy to say it sucks the most.
That is crazy to me. I've written that story like 4 times to make sure I was understanding exactly what's happening here.
I would say, man, you're in Texas. I know you live there. But I would have man.
I mean, look, there might be some stupid political stuff in Texas, but when you're getting medical care, it shouldn't matter what state you're in.
I
right?
know that.
You just assume that if you're getting that kind of open heart surgery, that your surgeon is the guy that was there start to finish.
But all the patients had the surgeries were successful.
As far as I know. The whistleblower, he didn't say if anyone died or anything like that, so I can't put that on them. But he just said, look, man, they do 2 surgeries at once. They're billing Medicaid to say that. So I guess the way it works is you need to be there start to finish to collect all the money for Medicaid to do this. But they're performing 2 operations at once. But they pointed out at the end of those operations is when they rolled out. Not before they left at the end of the operation, but not before the patient is stitched back up. And they said one of the most important, and I don't know, but they're saying one of the most important parts of the surgery is that the doctor's there. It's kind of like your pre-flight checklist in the cockpit. It might be mundane, but you need to read these things out. You need to check these things to make sure.
Okay, I'm going to go the 18-year-old then sucks the least. I know she sucks a lot, but based on these situations, I have to say out of the 3 stories, I mean, it's ridiculous what she did, but no one was at risk of dying, I guess is the only reason I'm going to say that.
Well, you never know, man.
I'm going the opposite. I was about to get to that.
Right.
I'm going to say the surge is in Texas. Now, it's bad, but it seems like everybody was okay, and I'm not shocked that stuff doesn't go on more. My issue with the 18-year-old woman that called the cops and said that guy was, abusive and he
was specifically going there to bring her harm. Is what
right, so those cops, if they roll up on that dude, he has no idea We don't know his complexion. You know, like
he can be reaching in his pocket to get his phone, not understanding what the hell's going on, and get
right,
shot.
You don't know, and like especially when you're just a normal citizen like us, like it's jarring. You almost don't even realize those cops are there for you till it's like
you wouldn't think
it's
they're
like,
there
oh my
for you.
God, they're actually here for us. So like that guy could have got seriously injured, and also it just kind of like. There's so many bad things that can happen. Like, don't lie about that. Because there's terrible things that happen to women and people don't believe them. So this, like her, it's
didn't
like,
help your cause.
Come on.
That's a Jesse Smollett moment.
Yes.
The debate continues on Who Sucks Less if you follow KISW on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Shot of the Day's coming up. You are listening to The Men's Room.
What kind of programs does this school have? How are the test scores? How many kids do a classroom? Homes.com knows these are all things you ask when you're home shopping as a parent. That's why each listing on Homes.com includes extensive reports on local schools, including photos, parent reviews, test scores, student-teacher ratio, school rankings, and more. The information is from multiple trusted sources and curated by Homes.com's dedicated in-house research team. It's all so you can make the right decision for your family. Homes.com. We've done your homework.
This episode is brought to you by Progressive Insurance. Whether you love true crime or comedy, celebrity interviews or news, you call the shots on what's in your podcast queue. And guess what? Now you can call them on your auto insurance too with the Name Your Price tool from Progressive. It works just the way it sounds. You tell Progressive how much you want to pay for car insurance, and they'll show you coverage options that fit your budget. Get your quote today at Progressive.com to join the over 28 million drivers who trust Progressive. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Price and coverage match limited by state law.
This is the story of the one. As a maintenance engineer, he hears things differently. To the untrained ear, everything on his shop floor might sound fine, but he can hear gears grinding or a belt slipping. So he steps in to fix the problem at hand before it gets out of hand. And he knows Grainger's got the right product he needs to get the job done, which is music to his ears. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Gatorade. Studied, tested, proven. With over 50 years in the making, it's scientifically researched and game tested to help replace the electrolytes you lose in sweat. Buy 2 Gatorade 28-ounce bottles for $5 at 7-Eleven today.
99.9 KISW. The shenanigans continue. This is the Men's Room with Miles and Thrill.
All right, so coming up in 12 minutes, we will drink a toast with a shot of the day. And we do have your headlines on the way at 5:50. But first, quick check on Mike Hawk and some of the stories and headlines he is not working on.
Thank you, Miles. The first all-electric tugboat has been christened in San Diego.
Okay.
I hope it works out.
Well, I mean, those things spit diesel or whatever the hell it is. So.
Yeah, something like that. And,
as long as it works.
And I understand the arguments against electric for things that have to do like towing and whatnot. They tend not to be as powerful. If they can make them just as or more powerful, cool.
That's an argument with a gas-powered vehicle when we're using horses.
Exactly.
And then it catches up.
Right.
God, we go through the same cycle all the time about everything.
We don't have any infrastructure for that. Those things just crap out. It's like, right, but
yeah,
it's hopefully getting us on a better power system. Like, get us off this dependency on a finite source.
Pretty simple
that we don't own. A new survey found that 25% of people can achieve orgasm through tickling alone.
Why do you think they've tickled me Elmo?
Oh.
He knows what he's doing.
That's right.
Tickle me Elmo's like,
Yeah.
What percentage?
25.
1 in 4 people.
So that means somebody in this room, we could just tickle them. And that's a Friday night.
Give it a shot.
Why are you all looking at me?
I'm just looking around the room.
Tickle me.
I know. Both of you looked at me. I was like, God damn,
Come
man.
on, Ted, tickle me.
I mean, I am ticklish, but it doesn't get me excited.
Agreed.
Yeah. I'd probably be out of breath first.
Then orgasm.
Yep. Well, that's what it is, man. You know, you get that the little air to the brain.
I mean, I remember getting my back waxed once, and like right along the sides of your stomach.
You had orgasm?
No, it hurts, but I still laugh because it's just that little
You're
part.
in so much pain.
Oh, yeah.
Well, no, but it's just ticklish. So it's like, even though it hurt, I was still kind of giggling, like, But I know tickle, it's a fetish.
It is.
So 1 out of 4 adds up.
And it would seem like a double good time because, you know, when I laugh, when I'm getting tickled, as much as I don't want it to happen anymore, it's funny. It's fun. It puts me in a whimsical mood.
Is it funny or is it just your reaction?
it's funny.
I never thought being tickled was funny, but I know that I'm laughing, but it's like, this is not joy laughing.
That is an interesting reaction, actually, now that you think
It
about
is.
it.
I mean, it's because nobody,
It emits a
1
sound
in
of
4
joy.
people do.
Right.
But 75% of people do not enjoy being tickled, but you're laughing hysterically.
Yeah, you're basically torturing your children.
Yeah.
You really are when you think about it.
When's the last time?
Yeah, but kids will be like, tickle me more. I think it depends as an adult. Who's tickling you?
Fair call, dude.
You know what I mean? Like,
when's the last time you've been tickled? Ticky. You know,
I mean, it's been a hot minute, bro.
I mean,
I can't tell you.
My wife gets some long nails, man, and then all of a sudden.
all right, okay.
yeah. I mean, I had a girlfriend. She kind of joke around, but
Yeah.
I'm like, I haven't like had a serious relationship in a while, so no, I haven't been tickled.
But she also gets me at bad times. You know, if I'm using the bathroom or something like that, she'll just come up behind me and just hit me. If I'm walking around shirtless or something like that, can't help herself. I got them fat rolls.
Just tell her, if you do it when I'm at the bathroom, man, I'll spray the toilet.
That's
I'm
right.
not cleaning it up.
Yeah. I'm saying, as an adult, it really depends on who's tickling you.
Yes.
Yes. Yes, it does.
There's very few other than her that are allowed to do it. If anybody does it in this room, I might throw one.
That's what I'm saying. Like as an adult, I feel like it's only somebody I've been intimate with who's like, tickle.
Exactly. I can't. Ted, you and I are good friends, buddy. If I come up behind you and I start tickling your sides, I'm ready to take one.
Yeah, I'm with you.
We have to have had sex or we want to have sex.
Correct. There's got to be.
As an adult,
I have
that's
a
basically
couple friends I'm thinking of that would do it, but they're already too handsy for my taste anyhow.
Right. Or you got to be a maternal figure. My mother-in-law could probably tickle me. She'd get away with it.
Yeah, I can see your mother-in-law.
Yeah. She would, too. I know it, she would. Experts say smuggled fentanyl poses a risk to plane passengers in close quarters. Duh.
Well, yeah, no kidding.
It's fentanyl. I don't recommend touching it.
Rabid monkeys pose a risk for people in close quarters.
It's got
a
me
hippopotamus poses a danger to people in close quarters.
It's got me afraid to grab a random $10 bill that I see on the side of the road.
Not me.
Those stories that come out, man, they're putting it on the doggone money.
I'll take my chances.
Mm-hmm. Don't grab the $10 bill that somebody put under your windshield wiper. Like, who's got this problem? That's terrifying.
When is the last time that has happened to anybody?
I know. It's one of those internet things that just
of course
goes
it
around
is.
there. This is the new thing. They're zip tying your doorknob.
I can fathom somebody doing that. I can't fathom somebody putting a 10 on your windshield.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I can't fathom it still being there. But between the time I notice it and the time they put it, somebody might do it every day. I'm telling you right now. If I see $10 under your windshield, like, I'm grabbing it.
I'm with you, right? There's a tenner. I'm like, sweet.
Right.
What a day.
It might
somebody
happen.
else's car.
Yes.
You're walking through your apartment parking lot like, oh, damn.
Absolutely.
I mean, I'm thinking if there's a tenner on my car, it probably says take it through a car wash. It's got a lot of pollen on it.
Yeah, it's a good call.
Like, I can't imagine. I can't imagine somebody just walking around and be like, I'm going to give this car turned over.
You're covered in fentanyl.
Why are you wasting your product on me? What the hell? Speaking of drugs, I think it's a universal thing. Cops are at least, they try to do some good stuff there. However, sometimes we can get caught in our own traps. Sometimes we can implicate ourselves just by speaking. That's why we have the right to remain silent in this country. In fact, there's a handful of things that are recommended that you actually don't even say.
The Men's Room Top 10. The Men's Room Top 10.
Went William Shatner there.
10 questions you should never answer if police pull you over. How about we flip the script? I just dropped a friend off after a Jimmy Buffett show and ran out of gas along the way. I started walking. An oh-so-fine female officer picked me up and took me to the gas station. She was kind enough to drop me back off with a gallon of gas, so I asked her out. She politely declined. Clearly, her loss.
And apparently that is a true story. Good job, BD.
Okay.
So these are 10 questions that you should never answer if you pull over. Apologies, officers. But can I search your vehicle? Says you don't have to let the officer search your car if you don't want to. Even if they ask nicely, you can still say no. Refusing doesn't mean you're guilty. It's your right to say no to an unreasonable search. If they insist, comply and seek legal advice later.
Okay. That is correct, but some of these are a little touchy as well.
I was about to say.
Like if you have like if your car smells like weed, then I think for the cops that falls under forget what they call it.
It's like reasonable suspicion.
Yeah.
Like, okay, you can't go anywhere. Going to wait to get a warrant.
And let me just put this out there. This is from milliondollarsense.com. This is a .com list here.
Okay.
So not exactly, so-and-so's law firm. Oh, wife's got to take drugs. Okay. not exactly a lawyer that's giving out this advice here. So take it with a grain of salt.
Sure.
Have you ever been arrested? Which I don't know why that would be a question, but it says this question is serious because it's about whether you're wanted by the police. But you don't have to answer if you don't want to. It's okay
You can
to
be
stay
wanted
silent.
by the police and not been arrested.
Right.
I know, right? Isn't that how it
I've never
starts?
been arrested, but man, I'm a great bank robber because you never caught me.
You never found me.
Yeah.
I'm wanted, but you don't know it.
I'd be like, yeah, I've been arrested, and you don't want to hear the story, man.
Yeah, that's just right. That's going to add more guilt to you.
Right.
You got to get arrested for something stupid when you're,
Yeah, I got
19
it under
years
my
old.
belt. I'm like, yeah, I've been arrested, man. So what?
Right. What does that have to do with now?
Yeah. Well, some of those are just your rights as an American.
Absolutely.
Like, what does that have to do with me speeding?
Right. 10 questions that you should never answer if police pull you over. Can I see your phone, your social media, your other personal belongings?
What?
Can I see
No.
your... Right.
Let me show you my D pics. Here we go.
They're considered private
There
property.
you go.
You don't have to show them to an officer unless they have a warrant. If the officer asks to see your phone, you completely refuse and ask why they want to see it.
Has anyone had an officer ask to see their phone?
No. Right.
License, registration. Do you
I
know I
also
pulled
like to
you
think
over?
that we run around in groups that we're not exactly in these situations. If we're talking with cops, either A, they're hanging with us backstage at a concert, or B, we've gotten pulled over for speeding.
Yeah, I mean, that's generally it.
I mean, I could fathom you getting that question if you're in an airport.
Yeah?
Just as I watch all those airport shows, and sometimes people are traveling, they're like, well, can we see your phone? Looks like you were smoking weed at the festival.
Ooh. I was. Actually, that was not weed, sir. That was meth.
Why are you so
I would
nervous?
like to ask the cop that.
What's that?
Can I see your phone?
Can I see your phone?
Mm-hmm. What's that you're putting into your eyeballs, officer?
I saw you at the Sphere, player.
That was the Dead Show.
Yeah. It's out of your system in like 3 or 4 days. They didn't catch it. Get out of here.
These two women look different.
Which one is your wife?
Does one know about the other?
I'll take that warning now.
Which one of them gave that? I'll take that warning.
He or she has given me the phone. And I'm just scrolling through.
Right? Let me set yours, officer. Why are you so nervous? Because you're here.
Because I got pulled over by an officer.
Because I'm a black man speaking to a police officer. Let's make this something, bitch. Why do you think? Jesus.
I got a quote for you after we get off the air here, man. I saw a video. It was pretty good.
I mean, look, I don't care who you are. You get nervous with this cop behind you.
You do.
Right?
Yeah.
Doing nothing.
To this day, do you know why I pulled you over? I'm like, no. That's why I'm nervous, dumbass.
Right. I have never had any reason to talk to an officer other than speeding, and I still shake every time I give him my ID.
Of course.
I did like my dad. He was always just angry. You know, they rolled. You know why I pulled you over? Yeah. I mean,
he's still got one of the greatest lines I have ever heard, man.
He was doing 47 at a 25-mile-an-hour zone. So?
Damn!
I was like 14, and I'm like, I just know that's not the answer.
Not supposed to pull a weapon on a cop, man.
Dude does not know. If you're not a stinging insect, he does not know fear.
Again,
You're a cop, not a bee.
I might
Okay.
reverse this question. Why are you nervous?
Why are you nervous?
Officer?
I know why you should be.
That sounds bad. That sounds like a threat now.
It does.
Actually, the best line I heard
Step out of
was
the car, Ted.
from Jeets that used to work here, and his line was, the cop's like, is there anything in your car that I should know about? And Jeet, nah, man, there's a whole lot of stuff in this car you should not know about.
It's not that I want you to know about.
Well, I did have a cop once in Ocean City. Can I come in? Can you not? All right, turn down the music. If I come back, I'm coming in.
Oh, all right.
Because we were like 19 or 20, clearly had beer in there.
Sure.
Like, you know what you're going to find.
Please. We'll be good. Is this your vehicle? It's okay for them to ask this to make sure that they're talking to the right person. You don't have to say more than necessary.
That's a yes or no
that's
question.
a yes or no
I
question.
gave you my registration. I gave you my insurance.
Right.
If it doesn't match my ID, then clearly this is not my vehicle.
Yeah. It's not difficult. It's almost why we have all of
Wow, the names don't match up. Maybe not your car.
When they ask what's in the car, me, homie.
15 pounds of swinging meat, baby.
That's right.
Got a couple empty Starbucks cups.
Right.
90 inches of D.
They basically say it's a loaded question. So.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Questions that you should never answer if police pull you over. Where are you coming from or where are you going to? Unless it's Border Patrol. Like, I can understand that.
That's different, right.
Some of the questions, too, are just to figure out what's going on with you.
Correct.
Right. It's not being intrusive. They're just trying to get a feel for how is this stop going to go.
Right.
In other words, did they get a warning or a ticket? We can make that decision in 30 seconds.
And I do just tell everybody, man, just be as nice as you can. Don't combat them. Combat them in court, not on the road. That's all. Doesn't work every time. It works plenty, though.
Lately, I've been worried because, again, the car's old. I got it from somebody else. Radio doesn't work. Right. And the glove box is just locked. So I keep my registration in the...
You look like a drug
in
dealer.
the armrest. I know. So I'm always like, if I get pulled over, like, I put my hands on the wheel and being like, all right, listen, I got to reach into this...
This license plate belongs to a Lexus, sir.
Yeah.
If I'm in the car with you, like, I'm not getting that for you, Ted. By the way, someone on the text line says, I have a legitimate speech impediment, and I stutter when I'm nervous. So, of course, when I get pulled over at 2 o'clock in the morning, the officer immediately thought I was drunk. Nope, I just stutter like there's no tomorrow.
Dude, I got pulled over one time. I had to make an early flight, so I was out on the road at 3 o'clock in the morning because I was flying out day of for an auction, and so I was on the freeway at 3 in the morning flying to the airport, and I get pulled over. And the guy comes over here, and I'm like, what in the world? Is he bored? Like, why are you pulling me over at 3 in the morning? He brings me over and says, the reason I pulled you over is for speeding. I was like, I know. He says, you've been drinking tonight? I went, that's why you pulled me over. It's not 3 in the morning. It's 3 Friday night.
Right.
No, man. I'm just going to the airport.
Yeah.
I'm sober as a judge. Speaking of which, have you been drinking tonight? This question is often asked during traffic stops to check if you've been drinking alcohol or using drugs. Really, I thought it was to ask how handsome I was. But saying yes could make things tough for you.
No kidding.
Right, it does.
No kidding. Are you on drugs? Yep.
The only time I ever had to do the field sobriety test is when I admitted to drinking. I had not drinking that much that night.
Right.
But because I said yes, they gave,
of course.
We'd like you to perform a field sobriety test. Like, all right, fine.
What was the test? Did you have to do the balance thing?
So... I had to do the finger in front of the nose thing with the light, and Ted told me the trick on that one, which made sense when I was in that moment. Like, he told me after the fact why they were doing it, but it made sense in the moment why they were doing that. And then I had to do the alphabet. I had to do the alphabet forward, but they had me start and stop on odd letters. Like, start at B and stop at N.
Okay.
Yeah, I'd be stone sober and be screwed on that one.
You fly right by
That's
it.
how I'd be like, I struggle with the alphabet in general. Next question.
Like, I slammed on the brakes on that. And like,
next question.
And it's funny, like, being on my side of it's like, okay, I know exactly why you did that. It's not whether or not you can do it or you can talk about it strong. It's like, this is actually a cognitive test. This is a mental test here. Yeah. Are you focused?
A lot of people are just going to fly through it.
Exactly.
Especially if they're impaired.
I know the alphabet.
Like, A, B, C through Z, dumbass. Ted, by the way, two different. I said, dude, Ted, use the car key to unlock the glove box, or check the fuse under the dash by the steering wheel, and your ignition key should unlock your glove box.
Yep, I know.
He's been through it all.
That goddamn radio. Man, I have one more person get in my car and go, I can do it. Mm-hmm. I mean, I can't. You can hear it in my voice. I get beyond pissed. Like, I have been like, have at it. Right. There's some technology in here from 06.
Right.
It's got to give the car does not have that info.
Guys, I am the same way. I produce a show. I do a lot of stuff, the technical behind the scenes. I sat back and was like, oh, yeah, no problem, Ted. I couldn't figure that damn thing out. Yeah, Ted, you might have to call the manufacturer on this one. And Do you know how fast you were going?
No, eyes on the wheel, man. If I were eyes on the road, put down the speedometer, I'm driving. What's your problem? How would you know? Keep your eyes on the road, dog. The whole thing's about safety. You're a cop, man.
I saw you on that little laptop back there.
Yeah, you should know better. What the hell?
You know how fast you were going? I'm just like a toddler. Why don't you tell me how fast you were going, officer?
Just to catch up to me.
If I was speeding, how'd you catch me?
And then the number one question that you should never answer if police pull you over, and Steve the Thrill Hill swears by this one. Steve, do you know why I pulled you over?
No.
Do not implicate yourself.
No.
Do not implicate yourself.
I don't know. I assume you're here we're in a goddamn game show. Just come up and tell me the information, brother. Time is money. Let's move along.
Kids, do you know why I'm mad? Please tell me why you're mad.
I used to do this with my kids, and I did it to make them smarter. When they're like 4 or 5 years old, do you know why I need to talk to you? Because I peed on the dog and took a video. Okay, I did not know that.
And we're going to have a separate conversation.
So now, do you know why we need to talk? no, even though they do. And I go, you're smart now. Thank you.
A man due in court for aggravated murder was able to walk free in Ohio, Miles.
Why is that?
Tell you all about it at 5:50.
Thank you, sir. Headlines are coming at 5:50 in the meantime. Let's get a contestant on the line for Profile This at 206-803-ROCK. Have we made it to drinking time?
What kind of programs does this school have? How are the test scores? How many kids do a classroom? Homes.com knows these are all things you ask when you're home shopping as a parent. That's why each listing on Homes.com includes extensive reports on local schools, including photos, parent reviews, test scores, student-teacher ratio, school rankings, and more. The information is from multiple trusted sources and curated by Homes.com's dedicated in-house research team. It's all so you can make the right decision for your family. Homes.com. We've done your homework.
This episode is brought to you by Progressive Insurance. Whether you love true crime or comedy, celebrity interviews or news, you call the shots on what's in your podcast queue. And guess what? Now you can call them on your auto insurance too with the Name Your Price tool from Progressive. It works just the way it sounds. You tell Progressive how much you want to pay for car insurance, and they'll show you coverage options that fit your budget. Get your quote today at Progressive.com to join the over 28 million drivers who trust Progressive. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Price and coverage match limited by state law.
This is the story of the one. As a maintenance engineer, he hears things differently. To the untrained ear, everything on his shop floor might sound fine, but he can hear gears grinding or a belt slipping. So he steps in to fix the problem at hand before it gets out of hand. And he knows Grainger's got the right product he needs to get the job done, which is music to his ears. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
I've got this neighbor, Ned, who brags about having the best smart home. So I showed him my Ecobee smart home. Turns out, Ecobee's a lot smarter, is easier to use, and saves money. Ecobee's the smartest choice I've ever made, except for my little Pomeranian.
Oh, yes. Oh, you are so cute. Aren't you my little pom-pom?
Sorry. So tell the Ned on your block about Ecobee. Just yell, "Get yourself a smarter home." Visit Ecobee.com today.
You don't just live in your home. You live in your neighborhood as well. So when you're shopping for a home, you want to know as much about the area around it as possible. Luckily, Homes.com has got you covered. Each listing features a comprehensive neighborhood guide from local experts. Everything you'd ever want to know about a neighborhood, including the number of homes for sale, transportation, local amenities, cultural attractions, unique qualities, and even things like median lot size and a noise score. Homes.com. We've done your homework.
This episode is brought to you by Progressive Insurance. Whether you love true crime or comedy, celebrity interviews or news, you call the shots on what's in your podcast queue. And guess what? Now you can call them on your auto insurance too with the Name Your Price tool from Progressive. It works just the way it sounds. You tell Progressive how much you want to pay for car insurance, and they'll show you coverage options that fit your budget. Get your quote today at Progressive.com to join the over 28 million drivers who trust Progressive. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Price and coverage match limited by state law.
It's warming up, folks, and about time to turn on your AC unit and cross your fingers. Or you can give up that moment of truth and switch to an American Standard heat pump system like I did. My place is on Comfort Autopilot thanks to American Standard. Energy efficient and reliable, my heat pump keeps things cool like the Arctic in the summer. And with energy incentives, I was able to save. Ready for the future of comfort? Learn more at AmericanStandardAir.com/electrification.
My neighbor Ned brags a lot about his smart home. So I showed him my Ecobee smart home. Turns out Ecobee's a lot smarter. So tell the Ned on your block about Ecobee. Just yell, "Get yourself a smarter home." Visit Ecobee.com today.
What's up? It's your boy, the Ted Smith from the Men's Room. And did you know I have a podcast? Well, I do. The Podcast. New episodes uploaded every Wednesday on the Odyssey app.
Somebody out there deserves to be recognized. And the Men's Room knows just who it is. So to you, we say, bottoms up, sailor. You're the toast of our shot of the day.
Drink time it is, and as usual, we head to the drink desk and Stephen Throwhill to find out who we're toasting.
Yes, indeed. And today we toast 21-year-old Marin Carter of somewhere in Georgia, maybe, I think. Anyway, She was born with a right arm that never fully formed. All right. Shoulder to elbow, her arm was fine, but below the elbow is just like a small flexible nub. That's what she had, been her whole life. Well, this past weekend, Marin got her first prosthetic arm, and these things are not cheap. They can cost anywhere from $10,000 to $70,000 or more for one of the more advanced ones, depending how advanced you want. Well, anyway, she was understandably excited. So she and her friends, they went to Top Golf to put it to the test. It's a cool video to see her up there, super excited. She has her new prosthetic arm, and on her first swing, the arm flew off and landed 2 floors below on the green. Because, you know, dude, it's her first swing.
I have not seen it.
I think the club stays in her left hand, but the right arm at the elbow, this thing flies off, lands 2 floors below on the green. We did not get word on whether or not she has to replace it, but it looked pretty beat up after falling over 20 feet.
I think we know what her handicap is.
Oh, yeah. Oh, damn.
It's a golf joke.
I know. I like it.
That's what Shield 4.
I know. Goddamn. But the people at Top Golf, they had to go get her arm. Seriously, because you can't walk down there and get things. So
no,
she's
it's a driving range.
I was like, what? She's like, my arm. They're like, ma'am, and she held up her nub. And they're like, Jesus, are you kidding? And there it was. There, check it out, Ted.
You ready?
All right, swings ice at her first swing. Oh man. Hey, good for her for giving it a try.
Yeah, I mean, I like the spirit. I'm sure they'll fix it, and she'll be able to swing a golf
I
ball.
think she'll be okay. And yeah, she's just like, damn. So we pour this booze and we drink this booze because we think it's yummy.
Yummy.
So over the tongue and down the throat to party in our tummies. Down the hola bichola.
The Men's Room presents Profile This.
Stephen Throwhill, could you please tell everyone how Profile This is played?
I sure can, Miles. It's a simple game where we share with you a real-life news story, something that happened right here on planet Earth. And as you listen to the story, based on the stereotypes you believe to be true of people and the decisions that people make, we'll ask you what it is you think makes the story a story. Hello, Justin. Welcome to the Men's Room.
Hola, gentlemen.
Hola. All right, Justin, you understand how this here game is played?
Sure, do you thrill?
Fantastic, because I just explained it. I'm glad you listened. All right, so you have your choice of one of 3 categories. We have Bite Me. In other words, what did somebody find in their food? Hit Me with your best shot, where you guess the unconventional weapon that someone chose to use as a weapon. And finally today, Animalize This, where you guess the animal responsible for causing the problem.
Ted, what are you feeling today?
Hit me. Mike, you're not wrong. I almost always go animal or drugs. I was like, screw it, hit me.
I was shocked by that, too.
I had it in the chamber. I was ready to roll.
Zap.
Gotcha. All right, Justin, here is your story. A man and a woman have each been charged with multiple felonies after they used the threat of force to take panhandling money from another couple. It's a turf war. So 32-year-old Carla Devaney from Bannock County and 20-year-old Devon Farmer, they've each been charged with felonies for robbery and conspiracy robbery. Now, the police responded to a call reporting a robbery at a convenience store. The caller followed the perpetrators to a bus stop. When they were there, officers found 2 people matching the descriptions provided by the victims. Other officers spoke with the victims at the convenience store. Now, the victims told officers that they'd been panhandling when a man, later identified as one of the suspects, approached their vehicle and pushed something into the driver's throat. He demanded the victims give him all the money that they had while panhandling, and he told the victims they were on his turf, and if they continued to panhandle there, they'd be forced to pay him 50% of their earnings. This is like homeless mafia.
Wow.
Yeah. So a woman, later identified as the other suspect, she walked up to the victim in the passenger seat, opened the door, and demanded the passenger's purse. The victim said that she took the loose change, a cell phone, and an ID. Anyway, they read the address and the ID aloud, told the victims they would come to their home and kill them if they called the police. The email said she wasn't certain how much the other woman took, but she guessed it was around 75 cents. Uh-oh. So officers asked the victim who'd been that's worth going to jail for. So officers asked the victim who'd been in the driver's seat if he required medical assistance for his throat. Said the throat was sore, but he did not require EMS. Anyway, the other 2 were in fact arrested for all the charges I stated earlier. The question is, what was the weapon they held to the man's throat in the driver's seat? Was it a nail file? Was it a large staple? Was it a Sharpie or was it a toothpick? So nail file, large staple, Sharpie, or toothpick. That was the weapon held to the man's throat.
I know those nail files can be kind of wicked, but what are you guys thinking?
I'm going to go a large staple there, Justin.
Oh, like one of those shipping boxes?
Yeah, one of the ones that suck when you have to break them down for recycling.
Oh, yeah, no, those have got my fingers way too many times.
That's a weird one. And obviously the people felt threatened by it.
They did feel threatened by it, yes.
It's just weird, so I'll go Sharpie.
Sharpie for Ted. All right, Justin, what are you thinking?
You know, I'll go down the weird route too, and I'll go toothpick. I mean, they're all weird, but toothpick. Okay. Yeah, let's go.
What did he hold to this guy's neck? Was it a nail file, a large staple, a Sharpie, or a toothpick? We'll find out next.
That was a tease.
You don't just live in your home. You live in your neighborhood as well. So when you're shopping for a home, you want to know as much about the area around it as possible. Luckily, Homes.com has got you covered. Each listing features a comprehensive neighborhood guide from local experts. Everything you'd ever want to know about a neighborhood, including the number of homes for sale, transportation, local amenities, cultural attractions, unique qualities, and even things like median lot size and a noise score. Homes.com. We've done your homework. You don't just live in your home. You live in your neighborhood as well. So when you're shopping for a home, you want to know as much about the area around it as possible. Luckily, Homes.com has got you covered. Each listing features a comprehensive neighborhood guide from local experts. Everything you'd ever want to know about a neighborhood, including the number of homes for sale, transportation, local amenities, cultural attractions, unique qualities, and even things like median lot size and a noise score. Homes.com. We've done your homework.
This episode is brought to you by Progressive Insurance. Whether you love true crime or comedy, celebrity interviews or news, you call the shots on what's in your podcast queue. And guess what? Now you can call them on your auto insurance too with the Name Your Price tool from Progressive. It works just the way it sounds. You tell Progressive how much you want to pay for car insurance, and they'll show you coverage options that fit your budget. Get your quote today at Progressive.com to join the over 28 million drivers who trust Progressive. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Price and coverage match limited by state law.
It's time to dust off your glove, grab your bat, and hit the road for some baseball. But before you head to the game, make sure your ride is in top shape. At Axton Automotive, our skilled mechanics ensure your vehicle is running smoothly so you can focus on cheering for your team. Don't strike out this spring. Get your car ready for baseball season. Visit AxtonAutomotive.com or call 360-685-7976.
99.9 KISW. We return to the men's room with Miles and Thrill.
Categories hit me with their best shout-out profilers. We got a couple charged after stealing money from another couple. The convenience store was there homeless turf, I guess.
Yeah, it's a homeless turf war, man.
So the man held something to the driver of the man's throat in an attempt to shake him down for whatever he had. Question is...
75 cents, Miles.
What did he try to shake him down with? Was it a nail file, a large staple, a Sharpie, or a toothpick?
Well, Justin, that is the very question that we posed to you. Let's start with Mouse Montgomery. You went with the staple?
I did.
It was not a staple. No matter how many times Justin has cut his fingers on one. But, Justin, you went with the toothpick. First of all, do not waste a toothpick on someone's neck. Give it to me, because I will gladly use it. It was not a toothpick. Ted went with the old Sharpie, because Ted clearly is a killer at heart.
Oh,
and there it is.
Sharpie it is.
A Sharpie.
I mean, you could kind of put it up there and be like, it's a gun.
I guess they pulled the cap off first.
All right.
Because if the cap's on there, it's not that sharp. When you pull the cap off, it's a little bit sharper.
Yeah. At least you can
and you leave a dot on someone's neck.
Actually, what he had really used in that one.
That's why
I got Sharpie on my neck.
It was one of them big Sharpies.
It just seems like a weird weapon to be like, baby, don't worry about anything when we panhandle today. I brought a Sharpie, and I will F someone
rubber
up.
Tip. Yeah. Now, for all TV news all the time, it's time for TV Time with Ted.
And now, because your pathetic life is confined to countless hours in front of a talking box, the Men's Room presents TV Time with Ted.
Let's see. The best team in the NFL.
Oh, the Chiefs.
Chiefs. What do they won? Two in a row and like 3 out of 4?
Three
out of five?
Three of the last 5 seasons, but 2 in a row, yeah.
Right. Travis Kelce, tight end for them, dates Taylor Swift.
What?
Yep.
When?
Yep.
I can't believe nobody's told us about that.
His brother Jason Kelce's gotten pretty famous now too.
What?
Yep.
Another Super Bowl winner?
A lot of stuff going on there. Well, good news. Kansas City Chiefs have a Hallmark Christmas movie in the works.
Oh my God.
It's called Holiday Touchdown, a Chiefs love story.
No.
No. It doesn't have anything to do with Taylor and Travis.
It has everything to do with it.
Filming to start next month in Kansas City, which is the hometown of Hallmark.
Okay.
So they're going to film it. They're going to film at Arrowhead. It'll be the first time an NFL venue has been in a Hallmark movie, which shouldn't be shocking.
It's not.
I don't know
at all.
And honestly, the NFL is pretty strict. Well, there's not a lot of movies, like pro football movies, where you see NFL logos or NFL stadiums.
They'll let the players show up, but they're not wearing the jersey.
Right.
But they're not showing the logos, none of that.
Right, like Any Given Sunday. I like that movie.
The Sharks and who?
I forget.
They're professional, and you can see their logos.
Right, but they were the Sharks, right? They couldn't. And some of the scenes, and I want to say either that movie or it might have been The Replacements or whatever, but they actually, Jerry Jones let him film at the Cowboy Stadium, and I think to this day the NFL was pretty annoyed with him. Like, no, man, we don't do that.
Well, even in the Batman movie with Bane, right? He's blowing up a football field after a kickoff return for a touchdown. The guy returning the kickoff is Hines Ward, and you clearly recognize it's Hines Ward. And he's wearing a uniform that almost looks like the Steelers, but it is not the Steelers. Even you know it's Hines Ward. You know he played for the Steelers. It kind of looks like the Steelers, but like, no, you cannot use our logos.
Yeah, obviously, like Draft Day, Kevin Costner, that's about the NFL draft. They obviously gave their blessing, and that's more of the inner workings. But anytime, look, I get it, but anytime the NFL has stuff that is a little more, I think, realistic to what goes on.
If it's bad.
Behind the scenes, right? They're like, no. We are not approved this. You can't. Remember that I still think it's one of the greatest TV shows I've ever seen in my life.
Ballers?
ESPN. No. Playmakers. Ballers is on HBO.
Right.
Playmakers came out for a season on ESPN. And I mean, it didn't even, I want to say it only made it like 2 or 3 episodes. And look, it was obviously over the top what was going on.
Of course.
I think one guy was smoking crack in the locker room or whatever. But I mean, the NFL basically was
Antonio Brown's retired.
The NFL basically went to ESPN and was like, you like the NFL on your airwaves, like no season 2, done with it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Any Given Sunday was a little more aggressive, but still I think okay. Last Boy Scout, obviously if you see that movie, wasn't going to get approved by the NFL. You got to, and there's plenty of other stadiums you could film in, but obviously first Hallmark movie being filmed there. Movie will follow a female Chiefs fan whose family are finalists to win Fan of the Year contest. We actually have a couple listeners, I think, that won Fan of the Year contest for the Seahawks before.
Oh, yeah. That's cool.
Yeah. Basically, she starts the fall for the guy in charge of the contest.
So not a player.
Her granddad's hat goes missing. It's a Chiefs thing. I mean, look, you know what it is. It's Hallmark.
It's Hallmark.
I like the way they say this. A little Christmas magic and throw a Hail Mary. So obviously, it'll be called Countdown to Christmas.
All right.
Damn.
Can't wait.
I mean, look, it makes more sense that Hallmark is based there, that they're picking the Chiefs.
Yes.
But I just think for the rest of the country right now, like even if somebody in your loves Hallmark movie, it's just like, Jesus Christ, enough of the Chiefs.
Enough of the Chiefs.
Looks like Love's in the red zone. Or the red and green zone.
Oh, good call.
Wow. I hate you right now, Mike.
Like that arrowhead was pointed at her heart.
Oh, Stars, Green Bay Packers quarterback, Jordan Love.
Slather barbecue sauce.
People point out Ace Ventura with the Dolphins.
You know what? Good call.
Yeah.
I completely forgot about that. I don't know how they let that fly.
They're probably like, this movie is so inane.
Maybe it's pre-Goodell.
Probably was. Yeah, it was. Probably Tagley Boo. I would think when Ace Ventura came out.
I don't know, because you're right. And like, look, I love Ace Ventura. You go back and watch that movie, it's like, oh, man.
That's wrong.
Yeah. So I'm like, yeah, that is kind of crazy.
There was also a movie in the 70s. What's it called, like Black Sunday or something?
Oh, yeah. About the Super Bowl and the blimp. And
it was about it's going to be a terrorist attack on the Super Bowl. The bomb was being delivered via blimp. Obviously, the people have figured out you're trying to stop it, but I want to say it was the Vikings against the Chargers. I think those are the two teams, and the NFL let them use the logo. Now, keep in mind, that was the 70s before the NFL became what we know it to be now.
And Goodell didn't take commissioner until 2006, so that's long before Ace Ventura.
Or long after.
Long after, yeah.
Yeah, I don't think Goodell would let that fly. I read that script like, are you kidding me? Am I on punks right now? Nick Nolte, North Dallas 40. Was that, in fact, Cowboys?
It was supposed to represent the Cowboys. They weren't the actual Cowboys.
Okay.
At that point in time, they might have been the Texans.
Okay, so for the purposes of the movie. All right,
correct. You got to remember, man. There's nudity in that. There's chicks in hot tubs.
Unlike the actual Dallas Cowboys, where that never happened.
Right, but kind of like we're saying, like, I didn't think about Ace Ventura, but, like, I have watched that movie and been like, God, I'm surprised they let it. But it's pre-Goodell.
Yeah.
And then, and even in the 70s, right? I mean, I don't know if people realize this, because the NFL is the American sport now, right? Like,
without a doubt.
Right. But, I mean, college football dominated the NFL forever. And it was like, like people watched it, but you had to really like football. Mm-hmm. Whereas nowadays, I feel like college football still brings in hundreds of thousands. There's bigger stadiums. But as far as TV ratings go, like we got to sit here and do this or, plan our day around that. It's definitely the NFL.
Yep. 7.80 for Brady. Yeah, I think Tom Brady gets a pass.
Sure, that's what I'm saying. Like draft day. That's like...
It's a positive thing.
Right? Like, nobody's blowing coke or smoking crack in draft day, right? It's just about what goes on in the inner workings, right? Like, 80 for Brady. Again, no crack.
Tom Brady face down in a pile of...
Right. Right there, they're old women going on a trip. You know what I mean? Nobody's facing blunts in the locker room before they play in the Super Bowl.
Director's cut.
Let's see. Does anybody in here watch House of Dragon?
I haven't yet. I need to.
Yep. All right.
It's on my list of my future appointments.
So I watched the first season. I haven't watched any of the second season yet.
Is it good?
I liked the first season, yeah.
Okay.
Is it the level that Game of Thrones was? I don't know if you can achieve that again.
You're not, because that was lightning in a bottle.
But it was still a fun show.
Okay.
Still worth it.
See boobs a lot?
Not as much.
There's definitely sex scenes.
Because there are a lot of boobs in Game
of Thrones. there's still plenty. Yeah, there's still some action.
Plenty's good,
Well, Olivia Cook, she's in House of Dragons. She's
Dragon, man.
House of Dragon.
It's not plural, bro.
One dragon.
All right. It's like the Fred Meyers.
Yeah.
I only respect houses that have two dragons.
Two dragons.
Well, punk ass house. So I guess on this season's second episode, her character has a hot and nasty scene. She says the sex scene they shot was intense, and it, quote, went on for effing ages. And it ends with the character, she gets there, we'll say.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh, Lord, I'm there. Lord in heaven.
There's two dragons now.
Right, so, like, look, we all know this, right? Like, the women are always like, yeah, we faked them. Cool.
Yeah.
Right? But she had to fake it on camera, and it's not even real sex, but it's still very close and intentional. So I think she has a valid point here. She's like, it didn't make the final cut.
Oh, I'd be pissed.
Oh, so it's just like real sex.
She's just like, it didn't make the cut.
She never got there.
Why did I have to do a fake it on camera if we were never going to get there?
Because they're trying to make it realistic.
Do you have a fake orgasm voice? Someone said, all right, man, you're on camera.
I'm
you're doing
done.
this cameo. Oh, damn.
Hold still.
Ice cream?
Sorry about your eyeballs.
Go ahead, Thrill. Sorry to be cut you off.
No, I'm done. That's my entire scene. Yeah, girl.
Well, everybody's going to have to fake it in the Hallmark movie about love in Kansas City.
Hallmark needs to make like an X-rated movie, just one time. Right, because the whole thing's about love, and it's always the same scenario, right? And we get it, but if you said, look, at the end of the movie, you know they're going to get together. You know how it works out. We're doing a sex scene. I'm in. I'll check it out.
I don't think they even imply that in the Hallmark movies, though. I don't think they even get that far.
You don't have to imply it because a lot of kids watch it with their moms.
Right.
But as an adult, we understand why you're pining after someone. You're trying to get some leg.
I feel like...
trying to get up in your guts. But they don't say that in Hallmark. But if they just said the final scene, just like, give it to me, mama. I've been playing sweet chicken.
I don't think they hardly ever sleep in the same building until like the end of the movie.
Same building.
Yeah, this is much more of, I've gone back to a small town.
I think that's even more. All them corn-fed women in Missouri.
He's about to lose the cottage.
I've been back to College Park a
Go
bunch.
get me some Midwestern butt.
Never helped me.
I'm Tracy Morgan for the Hallmark Channel.
Oh, no. Could you imagine?
If you like me and want to see more butt,
we're going to play this Christmas tree farm.
Hallmark, they're going to do it this year. You're going to see butt.
Fresh cut. He sings his own theme song for it.
I'm Tracy Morgan. I'm about to get some butt. Merry Christmas.
And Happy New Year. So Ryan Seacrest, we all know he's going to be hosting Wheel of Fortune this fall. And I told you a few months ago, Vanna White is returning.
Mm-hmm.
Drama, though, maybe.
Uh-oh.
She had a 2-year contract to stay on the show, 2025-2026 season, but there are reports that she doesn't jibe with Ryan Seacrest.
Well, there wasn't a lot of between Sajak. I mean,
but they were buddies behind the scenes.
Yeah, but they didn't banter that much. I mean, they said hi at the beginning and bye at the end.
But I'm thinking that, like, look, they did not talk much. She's there to do her thing. He's there to do his. But when you read about, especially in the 80s and 90s, all the stuff they did between takes, it's like, look, man, they were throwing down between takes.
Miles, you're right. It wasn't a ton, but like they talked in the beginning, and then once in a while during the game, she would kind of say something, and then she would talk at the end. I feel like over the years, she actually got to talk a little more.
She absolutely did.
Which was nice. But, you know, source says, quote, there's a part of her that wants to walk away sooner. It's just so difficult without Pat Sajak. It's also just weird, like, I mean, it was always her and Pat Sajak. So now you got, and there's nothing wrong with Ryan Seacrest. I'm sure he'll do a great job. I get why she wanted to stay on, but I also could fathom, like, this is just different. This isn't the work I'm used to.
I'd replace her with Wanda Sykes. Hey, spend that letter. Do it yourself.
Wanda Sykes.
They keep guessing the same letters over and over.
Yesterday I recommended on Vice Who Killed the WCW. I was wrong. Like twice in 2 weeks on something here. As soon as I turn on that episode, it's like, so Ted Turner's the owner. Now, he wasn't as involved. I guess once they were with Time Warner and then merged with AOL, America Online, which I completely forgot that whole thing happened. And like, as it's happening, they could late 90s, early 2000, that .com boom was massive. But I guess some people already realized that like it wasn't going to last and this and that. There's other companies starting up, but they're just being evaluated at money they were never going to achieve. But they get in there, and like Ted Turner, now he only has 40-some% instead of 50. So they're like, yeah, just stay in the corner. Like basically, like we don't care, we outvote you.
Yeah.
And then the guy that was running it for him, you see a lot of the wrestlers saying like that guy understood the business aspect, but he didn't understand like the wrestling business.
Mm-hmm.
So there's like. I will say this. I've watched all 4 episodes of Who Killed the WCW. I'm not positive. Like, it's easy to see, they sold it off to WWE. So at the final ending, and look, I'm never going to sit, like, I watch wrestling. I'm never going to champion Vince McMahon in WWE, right? But they did buy it. It was a much cheaper price. And it's like, yeah, they killed it off. Could they have kept it going as like a side thing?
Easy.
Probably. I mean, they have NXT now. I still think, and Miles and I were talking in the office, like, there was a lot of guys on that roster that were pretty damn big and stuff. Like I get Lex, Luger and what was I gonna say, and like Hulk were kind of getting up there in age, but it's like Goldberg was still on top of the world.
Yep. Sting was big.
Sting was big. Booker T, he does make it over to the WWE, but it's just kind of crazy. Like they were on top of the world, and then it just came crashing down pretty quick.
Yeah, still had Ric Flair, I think, and a couple guys. I know they bounced back and forth. It's hard for me to remember because a lot of guys just jump ship and jump back.
Well, and that was one of the thing too. Is like they got all this turmoil and who's calling the matches, who's making the matchups. So they showed this stat where it was like, I want to say it was Flair and Hogan, and they had hundreds of thousands of people pay for this pay-per-view. Well, then they did the same thing a year later, and it was like the numbers were way down. It's like, you got to do something a little different. Like they're legends, but you don't want to just watch them
over and over.
Yeah. So you had that on there. Tonight, we're kind of entering that era. If you're not a soccer fan, kind of the dead period. Yes, I know baseball's going on. They play 162 of them. But if you like NBA draft's on tonight. You can see who's going to be the stars of tomorrow.
Boy, thank you, Ted. We appreciate it. No kidding. You're listening to Men's Room.
This is the story of the one. As a maintenance engineer, he hears things differently. To the untrained ear, everything on his shop floor might sound fine, but he can hear gears grinding or a belt slipping. So he steps in to fix the problem at hand before it gets out of hand. And he knows Grainger's got the right product he needs to get the job done, which is music to his ears. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Listen as Selenia tells us why she chose to vaccinate her daughter.
I definitely felt like the pros far outweighed the cons. The diseases that I am protecting my child against, they're still here. And at the end of the day, it's my job as a mother to keep my child safe.
Talk to your child's doctor and learn more at whyvaccines.com. Brought to you by Merck.
Picture this. It's blazing hot outside and you need to get to work. You get into your car and turn on the AC to get cold air pumping as soon as possible. But it doesn't work. Instead, blowing hot air out of your vents and directly into your face. No, your car doesn't hate you. This issue is commonly caused by low refrigerant due to leaks in the air conditioning system. And there's an easy, all-in-one solution that will restore the cold air in no time. There's no need to go to the shop and pay lots of money when you can save time and money recharging yourself with AC Pro Recharge Kits. AC Pro Recharge Kits make restoring cold air easy for even those with zero DIY experience. And the AC Pro app offers clear, vehicle-specific instructions to help you get the job done in less than 10 minutes. So pick up an AC Pro Recharge Kit at any store selling auto products and confidently restore your car's cold air yourself today. Be a pro with AC Pro.
Gatorade. Studied, tested, proven. With over 50 years in the making, it's scientifically researched and game tested to help replace the electrolytes you lose in sweat. Buy 2 Gatorade 28-ounce bottles for $5 at 7-Eleven today.
The men's room returns with Miles and Thrill. Now, let's see what's happening in the real world.
All right, here we go. Woman decides to offer husband by putting Roundup in his Mountain Dew. Meanwhile, a homeowner wonders why her neighbor keeps using his yard to go poo. Typo leads to murderer's release, and yes, they can find him now. 76-year-old bank robber says it's easy to retire, but I don't know how. And a woman wrecks her car. Surprise, she's got a dead body in the back seat. It's time for your headline.
Now, it's time to hit the headlines. Here's my car.
And our top story, we go to Ohio, where a man is on the loose. He was put into the county jail on charges of aggravated murder and was awaiting his trial, which was scheduled for later in August. But out of nowhere, he was informed that he was free to leave and was ushered out the door. Interesting. It didn't take long for staff to figure out that due to a typo, they'd released the wrong man. The one that actually was due to leave was in jail on assault and theft charges. His case had been thrown out due to a witness not showing up in court. The issue came when the case numbers of the two were off by a single number, hence the typo. Authorities are searching for the man now.
Oops.
And Steve, you and I were talking about this back at the office. Like, I understand that there's a whole lot of things that go on backstage and whatnot, but can these case numbers have like a lot in between as far as differences as far as the case numbers go? Like, this was like 1659801 and his is 1659802. Like,
and I was asked, like I said, he knew he wasn't supposed to get out, but once they let him out, you're not going to treat. I'm sure they will eventually find him, but they will physically find him. It's not going to be because his cell phone record. He knows damn well. And like you said, his court case was pending. He hadn't gone to court. He hadn't been convicted yet.
Correct.
But he's about to be. So his ass, he's rolling out.
He's booking on out of there, right.
We actually came up with our escape plan because he's in Ohio. We're trying to figure out the easiest way to get out of there.
Do we go up and over the water here? Do we?
Yeah, I'm going
to Canada.
Yeah, I mean, come on. And then we said, how do none of the prison guards at least do a due diligence and ask, right? Because you've been in jail, Ted, and the prison guard, I know why you're in prison. I mean, you've attempted murder.
Do you, though? How many people do you see going in and out of there to where, to be honest with you, it's just paperwork across a desk?
It is, but I mean, after a while, I think other inmates will tell you, right? Because all that banter goes around. You know who potential murderers are.
Yeah. Yeah, right? You know what? That's fair.
If you're here because you slapped your girlfriend, you're here for 30 days, maybe I don't know that. But I know you're not going to be here long. But I know if you're here.
Was he in jail or was he in prison yet?
He was in county jail.
All right.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it was asking when they're like, hey, you can leave. I guarantee. He's like, you might want never mind. Yeah, cool.
And then you were thinking that the judge that was normally there was on vacation. He wasn't. He was kicked off.
He was kicked off. Okay.
Yeah.
And so this was like a new interim person, I believe.
Yeah,
correct. Like a visiting judge.
Exactly. So there's a whole cluster going on in there.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, yo. In other news, odd story out of Indiana. A man found something interesting while out mowing his lawn. It's not unusual for one to find fecal matter in the grass while you're out mowing the lawn, but our man knew on arrival that this wasn't an ordinary neighborhood critter that dropped a hot one on his grass. No. This was left by someone that lived nearby. Given that this wasn't the first time this had occurred, nor was it the first time that he'd caught it on tape, he checked the security footage and discovered that an elderly woman had come by in broad daylight and left a little gift. When confronted, she denied it until presented with video evidence and then gave the excuse of just needing to use the bathroom. You pooped on my house, woman.
Right.
Mm-hmm. No, it's not me.
There was no grudge. She was a member of the HOA.
Right.
But honest to God, whenever she passed this guy's house is when she needed to use the bathroom.
I don't know, man.
They didn't know each other.
I know. That's the whole thing, right?
Oh, yeah.
She was
There's
a member.
Something about his house.
She ducked behind because it was out of sight. It was behind the house, right near an air conditioning unit.
It was right next to his air conditioning unit.
So she would go and squat down.
She knew
there.
exactly what she was doing.
Well, she was using the bathroom, yeah, for sure, but it wasn't a vindictive thing against him.
That smell's gonna go into his air conditioning unit and blow into his house.
I get what you're saying. I'm just saying that it wasn't a personal beef between the two people.
Oh, it is now.
I disagree, Miles. Respectfully,
she said she didn't know him.
She said it wasn't her.
Sure, OJ said he didn't kill anybody.
Right.
That's true.
It was detailed that the man had an ongoing issue with the HOA, but however, as Miles said, didn't know any member personally, did not know that she was a member at the time of the dropping. Personally, here, my opinion, I think she knew exactly what she was doing. I think that she had to deal with whatever issue he was having with the HOA.
That's probably.
And she was delivering her little message to him. Now, I don't think he knew her. Yeah, I do agree with that part, but anyway.
I don't have to know you to poop on your house.
That's right. I know that's your house.
Repeatedly.
I'm going to poop on that house. We go to Florida for a cop after our own heart. He showed up to work one day. This is awful. He was almost immediately pulled aside by his supervisor due to the smell of alcohol on his breath. Ooh. Shamefully, the man admitted, wait for this, Ted, he admitted that he'd been drinking before his shift copious amounts that he described as, quote, coffee mugs of whiskey.
Damn.
Wow. Yeah. Boy's getting after it.
Get her done.
Drank coffee mugs of whiskey the night before. He took a sobriety test and failed miserably. The supervisor admitted that anybody driving under the influence shows a lack of good judgment and has no such place in law enforcement. He's now facing DUI charges as well.
All you had to do was not drink coffee mugs full of whiskey.
Hey, before work.
Before work.
He said he drank it the night before?
Yeah. And I think
but I guess if you're drinking
bled
mugs of whiskey and you only sleep for a couple hours, you'd still be impaired.
Right.
Oh, yeah. I can verify that.
It's not too much to ask to show up sober to work. We all have days. I get that. I mean, I feel like all of us here have showed up, looking through one eye and still tossed from the night before,
Oh,
Maybe took a shot in the morning. But,
yeah.
But come on, man. To the point to where this was not the first time this happened.
Right. Oh, he had shown up before.
I will throw that out there as my assumption.
Yeah, they probably had their eye on him. Like, dude, come on.
But also, we're not cops.
Right. If it happens once, I'm going to pull you say, Steve, come on, man. What are you doing? You okay?
I've had that conversation here. Trust me.
Dad, you all right, dude? What's going on at home? Come on.
This is a thirsty man.
Oh, no. Strange story out of Minnesota. Police got a call about a single-car collision. They arrived on the scene to find a driver of the car being treated by a Good Samaritan, but were alerted that her passenger sadly did not survive the impact. While the bystander consoled her, officers checked out the scene of the deceased, where they quickly ascertained the passenger did not die due to the accident.
Oh.
Yeah. The driver was medically cleared at a local hospital and was quickly arrested. An investigation is underway. This sounds an awful lot like one way or another the driver saw to the death of this passenger and then threw him in the car to stage this whole thing.
I would put them in the front seat, strap them into the car, and hit a pole on the right side of the car.
Right.
That's what I would do.
But even then, our technology...
So don't ride with Miles.
If I did do it...
You'll be money. Let's go for a drive.
Let's talk it out.
And just in case those stories left a bad taste in your mouth...
Thankfully, there's good news.
Down to the San Diego Zoo, where they got a new resident. In a milestone event for an animal marked as endangered on the International Union for Conservation of Nature Red List of Threatened Species, Say that 5 times fast. The San Diego Zoo proudly welcomed the birth of a Baird's tapir calf.
Oh, my God. My daughter's going to lose her mind.
Oh, yeah. I don't know if this is your average tapir. It's called a Baird's tapir. I don't know if it's different.
I'm sure she knows what it is.
She has a specific type of tapir that she likes. That is her favorite animal. She is aware of that one as well.
Okay.
Trust me, I have more tapir knowledge than I should.
What is a tapir?
It looks like an anteater with a half snout.
But it's a little tiny guy.
No,
they're big.
Certain ones can get big.
They're
I
big.
saw the picture of it as a baby, right? That's
Yeah, they can get pretty sizable. They got one down at Point Defiance. Yeah, it's huge, man. You can ride that thing like a pony.
I'll be down.
Oh, yeah, it looks like an elephant.
Yeah.
A fuzzy little elephant.
They're big dudes. Their Baird's tapir by the name of Luna gave birth to the youngin' a few weeks ago, and they're both doing great. The calf is growing, and the pair are bonded to the point that they're actually officially both on display for patrons to take a peek. Officials say the young tapir regularly gets the zoomies and has an overall joy for life already.
Oh, nice.
Gotta love it, dude. So there you go. Thank you, San Diego Zoo.
I feel like you really meant that comment.
Sometimes I have to stall while I find my buttons over here.
Oh, I thought he was like, yeah, great. The zoo's got a baby tapir.
Another doggone tapir over here. The Mariners lost their chances at the series last night against the Rays, dropping that game 11-3, but they did hold off the sweep today in the matinee game, coming out ahead 5-2 after a great game by Kirby and a clutch home run by Cal Raleigh. They got the day off to tomorrow, and we'll be back in Seattle for the homestand against the Twins on Friday. As far as your weather, got a little water break headed our way. Clouds are moving in and expected to cool things down tonight and into tomorrow, where we can expect a 50% chance of rain and a high of 63 degrees. However, looks like it's going to be the only day of this week that's showing some rain, so it should brighten up here fairly quickly. That's it for your headlines. With that, Mike Hawkins out.
Thank you, sir. We appreciate it. We'll see you next time for the head chef and Ted's Meat and Potatoes in the game known as Big Dummy.
Yes, indeed. It is all true. But in the meantime, well, we be all about this bitch. So until next time, please do what you do best. And for Aletha's sake, stay beautiful.
The Men's Room has been taped before a live studio audience. Wardrobe and makeup provided by Mantastic Limited. This has been a presentation of the Men's Room Radio Network. Oh, man! A Double Flush production.
What kind of programs does this school have? How are the test scores? How many kids do a classroom? Homes.com knows these are all things you ask when you're home shopping as a parent. That's why each listing on Homes.com includes extensive reports on local schools, including photos, parent reviews, test scores, student-teacher ratio, school rankings, and more. The information is from multiple trusted sources and curated by Homes.com's dedicated in-house research team. It's all so you can make the right decision for your family. Homes.com. We've done your homework.
This is the story of the one. As a maintenance engineer, he hears things differently. To the untrained ear, everything on his shop floor might sound fine, but he can hear gears grinding or a belt slipping. So he steps in to fix the problem at hand before it gets out of hand. And he knows Grainger's got the right product he needs to get the job done, which is music to his ears. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
This episode is brought to you by Progressive Insurance. Whether you love true crime or comedy, celebrity interviews or news, you call the shots on what's in your podcast queue. And guess what? Now you can call them on your auto insurance too, with the Name Your Price tool from Progressive. It works just the way it sounds. You tell Progressive how much you want to pay for car insurance, and they'll show you coverage options that fit your budget. Get your quote today at Progressive.com to join the over 28 million drivers who trust Progressive. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Price and coverage match limited by state law.
If the last few years have taught us anything, it's that human connection means the world. By connecting with one another, we know we're not alone. By connecting, we feel what others feel. We breathe better, laugh easier, and feel healthier. At Regents, connection is at the heart of everything we do. It inspires our commitment to our communities and to you. Here, health isn't just a you thing, it's a we thing. Regents Blue Shield. Together we health.